Hello, Night Nation. Proud to let you know that the Sons of UCF podcast is presented by the law firm of Gordon and Partners. Since 1993, Gordon and Partners have been dedicated to the pursuit of justice for those who have been wrongfully injured at no fault of their own. It's important that you get legal advice from somebody you trust. So contact UCF alum Michael Hoffman directly if you have any legal needs or questions. Visit their website at www.fortheinjured.com or text 407-913-5350 to speak directly to Michael. Don't trust just anybody. Trust the best. And trust a fellow knight. Gordon and Partners, for the injured.
This is the Sons of UCF, the number one place for UCF sports, with your distinguished host, Adam.
Let's all get together and see who can solve the Wordle the fastest.
And Mike.
You know, last year I think I said about 30 people in the UCF Sons of UCF group. Let's try to double that. Let's try to get 50.
Now, here are the guys.
All right, we are back. Episode 182 of the Sons of UCF. My name is Adam, and as always, he is returned for another episode. My number one fan, friend, and yours, Mr. UCF Mike. Mike, welcome back, buddy. How are you?
Fantastic, man. Just had a great Memorial Day weekend. Had the day off yesterday, and now short week, and ready to get this thing started.
Yes, those are all great things. We'll get this thing started in just a second. Again, first things first, we got to make sure we do all the plugs here, Mike. Social media, that's a place you're going to find us. Follow us on social media anywhere you can. Think of that at Sons of UCF YouTube channel, Sons of UCF as well. As mentioned off the top, we are sponsored by Gordon and Partners. We very much appreciate Michael Hoffman and the good folks at Gordon and Partners for giving us an opportunity to continue to expand our show. Really excited about that partnership. So make sure you check out Gordon and Partners for theinjured.com, Mike. And this particular episode, we got some good stuff for you. I Object is back, where we tweaked it a little bit, Mike. Did it get better? I don't know. Did it get worse? Is it in between? I don't know where we are.
We added something to the segment, so I think it's better.
Okay,
right. It's always a work in progress.
Work in progress around here. So work in progress there. We'll do cow of the week. Our old staples, Mike. Well, we got some headlines coming up here. Mike may sneak in an observation or two here from his weekend. So stick around for that. A couple of top 5 list options. And our interview this week, Mike, Jawon Hamilton, former UCF running back, was here in 16-17, suffered a pretty bad injury in 17, ultimately decided to leave UCF and wrapped up his college football career. And we'll catch up with him. You'll hear what he's up to these days. He'll take you through his UCF career and the ups and the downs. There are a couple downs he talks about too, which I thought was really revealing, Mike. So a good conversation with Jawon Hamilton. What more can you people ask for?
I don't know. These people ask for a lot. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's ever enough for them.
Okay.
We give them a couple of shows per week.
Yeah.
And, they get on my case when I can't make it sometimes. It's a pretty stingy group we got going on.
You want to talk about it? You okay?
No, I'm all right.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what else people demanded, Mike, and they finally got their wish today. They demanded a sponsor for that their football stadium. And today, Mike, we learned that we have one. FBC Mortgage Stadium is now official. The ink is dry on the contract. It is a 10-year, $19.5 million contract for you math majors out there. $1.95 million a year. I'm sure you're looking for context on that. Here's some context for you. The rumored, and I put that in air quotes, you didn't see it though, deal with 3MG that was killed by the Board of Trustees. That was a 12 for 20 deal, so that was 1.6. Our Bright House deal, which became Spectrum, was 15 for 15. That was 1. And this crazy roof claim deal was 15 for 35, which is 2.3, Mike. So we landed a 1.95 annual valuation. A 10-year deal. There is a 5-year opt-out, so in 2027, the deal can be opened back up and determine if we want to do something there, or obviously FBC Mortgage could say we want to walk away. So, Mike, $1.95 million coming annually, 19.5 if we live out the contract. Your thoughts on welcoming yourself to FBC Mortgage Stadium next season?
Yeah, and it's 1.95 more than we got this past season for our stadium name.
Let me check that math.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So it's a step in the right direction. Maybe we can get started on some of these construction projects that we want to do. It's nice to finally get a sponsor. FBC Mortgage. I've never dealt with them. I don't know how good of a company they are, but they're now my favorite mortgage company.
Okay.
They're sponsoring our stadium. It's a little weird. All these stadiums with new names, like the one down here in Miami now, where the Heat play is FTX Arena.
It is, yeah.
The Panthers play at Florida FLA Live.
I don't even know what that means, by the way. And FTX is at least a crypto company. I don't even know what FLA Live is. I
don't know either.
Does anybody know?
So yeah, now we got FBC Mortgage. And is it in the contract that it has to be called FBC Mortgage Stadium? Can't they just call it FBC Mortgage Bounce House? Make everybody happy?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the situation. I mean, the reality is there are a lot of stadiums that are named after certain things, and people don't call it that. Like, no, very few people know what the Florida Stadium is. We call it the Swamp, right? You know, it's just, you know, Death Valley, right? It's Happy Valley. Sometimes you don't even realize what the name of the stadium is. So for everyone who wants to call it the Bounce House, keep calling it the Bounce House. I don't think FBC Mortgage is going to come find you, hunt you down, and you know, take away your tickets or something like that. But to Mike's point, it's $1.95 million in the pocket every year. And, you know, we saw all the plans that Timo laid out. We saw the fundraising effort that's going to be required to get to the Big 12. UCF laid out all of that particular propaganda around how low we are in the new Big 12. So this is 1.95 that we didn't have going into it. I tried to do some research on it. I didn't find a whole lot. I saw Christian Simmons did something similar. The only thing comparables I could find, Mike, Washington has a $4.5 million a year deal for their stadium. Washington State just inked a 1.1. Houston, who will be going with us, obviously to the Big 12, has a 1.5. So UCF got decent value from that perspective. And it's money we didn't have, and I don't care what you call it. FBC, call it the mortgage, call it the mort, call it whatever you want. Just make sure the check clears every year.
Well, yeah, that's the most important thing. We believe that we had deals in place the last couple of years, and we saw what's happened there. So as long as the money actually does come in, I'm all for it. I don't care what it's called either. But I'm just saying, I think for their purposes, because people are still going to call it the Bounce House no matter what anyway. So if they had just added FBC Mortgage in front of Bounce House, I think they'd get more play that way. Now, FBC Stadium or FBC Mortgage Stadium, nobody's going to call it that. People would have called it FBC Mortgage Bounce House, I think. But now they're just going to call it Bounce House without it. So, whatever. I mean, it's money. We'll take money. We've determined we still have to pay who knows how much to get out of the AAC. So that's going to help at least soften the blow there.
Yeah, and again, you got to like the value on the deal too, right? Because obviously UCF got a good valuation, which hopefully means that, you know, there was enough negotiating of materials presented to the fine folks at FBC Mortgage to say to themselves, okay, this is a good deal for us. This is good value for us. This is, you know, a good place for us to slap our name on the side of the stadium and, you know, the backdrop and I guess on the field, I assume. I don't even know where else. But, you know, they've got to see the value, which hopefully means that they recognize the growing brand. And this hopefully becomes the starting point for other businesses to say, okay, let's put our name on the basketball arena. Let's put our name on the softball complex. Let's, a lot of stadiums have, Bounce House Stadium at FBC Mortgage Field or whatever the different naming, conventions are. Maybe this then begins that hopeful run of more businesses, particularly local businesses, particularly alumni-run businesses that are willing to get into deals with UCF and continue to raise that profit line. We're going to talk later on about alcohol sales, Mike, but Terry Mohajir mentioned it on the Charge On Tour. They're going to have to find ways to generate revenue, right? They're only going to get so much through donations. They're only going to get so much through TV contracts. They're going to have to find a way to generate revenue. This is one big step in doing it. There hopefully are others behind it, but a good first step, and probably the biggest first step, Mike, is getting something on the football stadium.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest seller. Now with us moving to the Big 12, you're going to be getting a lot more games on big-time networks, right? Was it Fox is where the Big 12 games are on?
Possibly.
So you're going to be getting a lot of exposure there that way, probably more games on ESPN and things like that. So I think it's a good deal for the mortgage company. It's a good deal for us. And hopefully this is a nice relationship that can last for all 10 years. But you never know. I mean, these mortgage companies come and go. The way the mortgages are going nowadays, who knows? Hopefully this one can stick around for a while.
Well, I'm just glad we got something through the board of trustees because we hadn't had a whole lot of success recently going to that meeting and getting things done. This is 2 times down the last week we went through and got initial funding secured, or at least earmarked to begin projects around the football stadium, and now we get the sponsor name. So 2 for 2 of late in getting things to the board of trustees, which was a bit of a challenge from that standpoint. So I'm sure more to come. I don't know what the logo will look like. I'm sure at some point we can have a little fun, Mike, with trying to come up with the way to shorten this thing, or what we call it. Is it the mort, the moat, the dungeon? What do we call this thing? Who knows? But we have plenty of time. Hopefully it doesn't go underwater. That's all I can say, Mike. Let's go on the field for a quick second. A couple of transfers. Cameron Kinney, Mike, I know one of your favorites, 6'2", 290, maybe even 300-pounder, coming from Georgia, where he was a backup center. I guess he was a D lineman out of high school, but Georgia had him playing O-line. 24/7 is reporting he has 4 years of eligibility left, Mike. So a pretty big-time recruit coming to UCF and joining the offensive line. You can never have too many large, giant human beings that can push people around.
That's right. You never know who may get hurt. We saw issues last year on the offensive line. Matt Lee got banged up a couple times where you need somebody to step in. This kid's got 4 years left. That's a big deal. It's like basically signing a freshman. So it sounds good. Looks good on paper. Now let's see if it translates to the field.
Odds are that he's a potential to be the backup center to Matt Lee. He was a center at Georgia. Right now, Caden Kittler, who is a true freshman coming on campus. All the sort of a lot of those guys moved in actually this past weekend, Mike. So I saw Caden Kittler was there. Saw Quan Lee was there. So Caden Kittler was potentially that guy. He told us in the live show that Coach Hand said he could be the backup to Matt Lee. So maybe Cameron Kinney has other ideas, Mike. But you never have too much depth up front. I mean, right now I think we're running with Lee, Jackson, Palue, probably Swoboda and Grable perhaps, but you've got some pretty quality depth on the back line of that, which we saw how we needed that last year. We saw a few different times where guys went out, Matt Lee went out. We saw Cole Schneider go out for a series here and there. So you never have too much depth on the O line. So a good pickup there. And then last week, Mike, we learned that Walter Yates III, he is going to be joining UCF, previous of Savannah State. He had initially committed to Middle Tennessee State, changed his mind, now coming to UCF. He plays linebacker. He's 6'1", he's 220. He's been injured off and on, so doesn't have a ton of stats, Mike, but we need people with the letters L and B in front of their name, and Walter Yates apparently has that.
We're accepting all linebackers right now, apparently. But good for this Yates kid. He's on the roster now. He's got a chance to prove himself in camp and see what he can do. I don't know. You mentioned some of the other schools that he was attending, or
Savannah State and Middle Tennessee didn't get it for you?
Yeah, no, they don't do much
That's
for
interesting.
me.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So let's see. You never know. He's a project, and maybe the coaches can do something with him.
Well, Gus said in his charge on stops, both the one on the Space Coast and the one in Oviedo, that he may not be done. There's some rumors floating around about a wide receiver that may be out there that UCF's got an eye on. So clearly Gus is continuing to keep his eye on the transfer portal, see what options he has available to him. Obviously there's a little bit of a window of time here to maybe enroll and still be eligible. I guess it depends on, sort of where we are. So Gus is continuing to work that portal, Mike, and obviously finding a couple positions of need. I think he wanted depth on both lines, and obviously we need some help at linebacker. Receivers interesting. Obviously losing Jay Flash, maybe you want one more pair of hands in the receivers room, but the college football doesn't stop, man. I mean, like it feels like you get a break and all of a sudden there's a transfer portal news here and there. So Gus is certainly working the portal, and we'll see what else he can come up with. But also keep in mind we could lose guys too. So
yeah, any day you can wake up and you think you had somebody on
literally
the team,
any day,
and they're gone.
Yeah.
And they're out of here.
And they're gone.
So I'm not going to be excited about the roster until we actually start playing games.
Well, speaking of rosters and recruiting really quickly, Mike, it's also, is it now FBC Mortgage Weekend? What do we call it? Because it's Bounce House Weekend, and a bunch of recruits are going to be on campus. A bunch of targets from the next couple classes will be in Orlando on campus. Bounce House Weekend, maybe now FBC Mortgage Weekend. So maybe we'll get a couple of booms this weekend from some of the kids who are on campus.
Yeah, but this weekend, remember last year, everybody was all upset we didn't get too many booms coming out of there. But it lays the groundwork, especially for future classes. This is not just for senior kids this year, right? So you got some of the best players in the 2024, 2025 class coming in. Let's see. You build the relationships now, and hopefully it pays off down the road.
We will certainly find out. So that's a quick football update, Mike. This weekend also marked the end of the season for two UCF sports. Let's start with softball. Super regional, ran into a bus up. Perhaps one of the best college softball teams ever assembled in this Oklahoma squad. UCF losing 8-0 and 5 on Friday, 7-1 on Saturday. Effectively bounced out of the tournament, and so season's over for the softball program. 49-14, one of the best years in UCF history. I think Elo was calling it the best season, and I trust him on all things softball related. Mike, a great run comes to an end at the hands of a great team. A cool story, seeing Coach Ball Malone afterwards and how proud she is of that team, and just what they accomplished. Obviously, tough task was ahead of them, and valiant effort, but softball, their season comes to an end. Mike, your overall thoughts on just this run softball made and what you think it means for UCF?
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. They even got people like me excited to come home early on a Friday and watch a softball game, right? That just shows you this team captured the hearts of UCF Nation. They played great ball all season long, and they were rewarded for it. Now, the reward was to play the best team in the country, which Oklahoma is, and we knew it was going to be tough, and it was pretty tough. But the good thing is we didn't get destroyed in these games, right? The weekend before, they won a game 20-0. Mm-hmm. They ruled how many teams this year? So we didn't go in there and embarrass ourselves either. But it just shows you how far we have to go from here to get to being the best team in the country. Because now we see what it looks like, right? And that's the next step. But great season. You can't take anything away from these girls this year. They made history, hosted a regional, won a regional. Now we build on that for next season, and hopefully we can keep Bear here as long as possible and keep this program rolling.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're just going to face this every year now, right? When we have a successful team, there's going to be programs that are come knocking. I will say, Mike, she sounded very much like a coach who was interested in staying with UCF and building a program, and talked about her players and what she loved. I mean, a lot of other coaches do that too. So you hate to go, oh no, there's no chance, and then all of a sudden something happens. But we'll see how that works out. And she's got the softball program pointing in the right direction. Losing some tough competitors though. Really the pitching staff, Kama Woodall and Gianna Mancha, both gone. Denali Shophocker graduates as well, so there will be some holes to fill overall, Mike. But another quick story, obviously, that got some attention, and somehow you and me and Trace got involved with it. Obviously, we saw the videos that were posted this weekend. Maddie Bejarano was able to have her brother join her out there, Mike. I know you saw some of those videos that were out there where people were tagging us all weekend on the post and everything. Just as a human, it was really cool to see Tanner and Maddie's family get out there, and it kind of makes it all worthwhile when you sort of see something like that. That video they posted of them by the bus when she kind of sees him and he gives her a big hug. If that didn't make you a little misty, I don't know what would, Mike. But overall, a good end to a great story. It was cool to see Tanner out there cheering on his sister.
No, it was very cool. And he's out there with the tank top in true Sun style.
Yes, he was.
Great story. I was glad that we were able to be a part of it. We really got to give special thanks to Robert. Two letters, two words. He started this whole thing. He got the ball rolling. And then, of course, our friends over at Gordon and Partners to really seal the deal on this thing, get our names on there. And, we got recognized for it. They mentioned us on ESPN. It was a pretty cool weekend for the Suns. It was a cool weekend for the Bejarano family and just UCF family in general, because it just shows another example of how this university has so many fans that really care about each other and make it into a family that, people are willing to help each other out. And of all the bad news you see in the world all the time, last week sucked with all this of the negative stuff going on. But it is cool to see nice things like this happen every once in a while.
Yeah, really it is. And just a big thanks to everybody who was involved. Like you said, Mike, it took a village. We were just a small part of it. So we were glad to play any role we could. And it was a good ride. I'm openly admitting this before you've admitted it too. I'm not somebody who watches every softball game every time one's on, but towards the end of the year, I got kind of hooked on this thing. I got kind of hooked on watching the games and seeing how well they played, and you start to learn their stories and follow along a little bit. And before you know it, to your point, it's a Saturday, and you're like, "Oh, it's 2:00. The softball's on." And your wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" And you're like, "Well, the softball's on. I gotta watch." So it's cool to get wrapped up in something like that. It's cool to understand and learn more about the teams and the people, and kind of getting it personalized when you see Maddie's story and seeing Tanner makes it all the more wild. So it was cool to be part of that ride, and we'll see what happens in the future. But it was definitely a cool weekend, and we wish the softball program will continue moving forward in the right direction. And we'll see how that goes. You never know these days, Mike. Speaking of programs moving in a direction, baseball, it was an interesting weekend, Mike. I don't know how much you were following this, but we lose the first one, come back and we win a bunch in a row, and all of a sudden we find ourselves basically playing Houston and need to beat them twice on Saturday. We win the first game. If we win the second game, we're going to go to the finals, and it's a tie ball game. It's 6-6 going into the top of the ninth, and Cameron Crane gives up a 3-run homer to Houston. They end up winning 9-6. That effectively ends the UCF baseball season, 35-25. Again, second in the conference regular season, but again, no postseason since 2017, Mike. So, your thoughts on this baseball season? 35-25, no postseason again. Where are we at? What do you think?
Well, this baseball program hasn't really gone anywhere the last couple of years. We keep talking about that one year that got shut down for COVID where it looked like we were going to be really good, but who the heck really knows what would have happened? It could have been, we've seen that a million times too, where we get off to great starts and then things go in the tank. I know this year we were plagued with a lot of injuries, especially the key players, starting pitchers. Some of our best players went down for a while. So it's not all on Lovelady, but you got to start looking. I mean, where is this program heading? Where is the trajectory pointing up or down with this baseball program? Or are we just kind of just moving along year by year and not really making progress? We got to get back into these regional tournaments at least, right? I mean, we were always in the regional tournaments. And this is back in our day, 20 years ago. And baseball was probably the most consistent sport we had on campus, and now it's an afterthought. Nobody really thinks about it. And, I'd love to see it change. Because I think you saw the way people got excited about the softball program this year. If baseball was really good and we were competing to go to the College World Series every year, I think this fan base would love it. Mm-hmm. And you'd see people out there packing the John every weekend out in the Love Shack. It would be a fun time out there.
Probably the Love Shack
unfortunately, we just anymore. We can't seem to gather the momentum on this program. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the injury, it's so tough to do this, right? Because you look at the injuries, all the games lost, basically losing your top two starting pitchers, and you say to yourself, "Wait, man, any team would probably struggle." And then you look at it and you go, "Man, we still cobble together, 35 wins. We were literally 3 outs from playing for a conference championship." Well, I guess we'd probably gone to extras, but literally, you know what I mean? We were 3 outs away of getting back to that stage we were at a year ago. But then you say to yourself, man, but this has been year after year, and it's been another season of disappointment. I'm not one to sit here and say it's all on Lovelady. To your point, I don't know that you can pin all of this on him, but at some point we've got to catch lightning in a bottle. We've got to figure out the formula that allows us to be more competitive. I mean, the American Conference is a one-bid league, in the College World Series. It's ECU. That's it. So it isn't like we've got a bunch of teams in there that are world beaters. So you have an opportunity, you think, to make some noise in the conference if you can put some stuff together, get some good recruiting classes, and stay healthy. And some of that stuff's just freak injury, Mike. Some of it, do you say, oh, it's on this person, or it's on the trainer, or it's on the pitching staff? It's hard to pinpoint the one thing, and that's what makes Lovelady's situation so tough. I suspect he'll get another year. I don't know that that's unreasonable to say he should get another year, but it's just so hard to evaluate because there's just so much that goes on around, particularly with injuries, that you look at and you go, well, what if? What if these guys have been healthy? Would we have had that season? And you can play the what if game all day, but ultimately, that's why I think Lovelady probably comes back again next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you can look forward to next year. Saying, Andrew Sundin had a fantastic freshman season. He looks like he could be a star here. But the program itself, man, I don't know what else to say other than it's just been mediocre. for the last few years, and that's got to change. And when we move into the Big 12, it's only going to get harder. You mentioned that the American Conference this year is really not that good. Only one team made it to the regional. So when you move into a more competitive conference in a couple of years, something's got to improve. And if it means coaching changed, and that's what it means. But I guess he'll have one more year to prove himself and see if he can get this thing moving.
Well, later on, we'll talk about the transfer portal as it relates to basketball. But Russ Wood from Rival is reporting that 5 UCF baseball players in the portal now: Benjamin Rushing, Brogan Napier, John Montez, Pablo Ruiz, and Jason Ambos, all in the portal, according to Russ Wood. Ruiz was a big contributor last year, Mike. Montez also played a bunch. So 5 guys already in the portal. I saw Litchfield announced his goodbye. I don't know if that means he's heading to the draft or he's going to do a grad transfer, but Litchfield obviously leaving. You got to wonder what Connor Stain's going to do. Is he going to take an opportunity to maybe go to the draft? Someone may take a flyer on the kid. Hunter Patterson, same thing. What are their options? So there's a lot of different influx moments, and I think this is going to be a really crucial offseason for Lovelady. What can he do? How can he bring the team together? What talent can we bring in the portal? And who else can he kind of develop from the internal system? And this could, I hate to say the make it or break it year, but this could be it for Lovelady to really put his stamp on the program and truly show, are we pointing up or are we pointing down?
Yeah, and baseball is the hardest. I think it has to be for the recruiting and all that. You think you have a fantastic recruiting class. You got some of the best players in the country committed to you. And then the draft comes along and they decide, okay, I'm not going to college anymore. And you got to start all over again. So from that perspective, I don't envy his job at all. But, he's not alone. Every college goes through that same thing. So other teams have figured it out. East Carolina seems to have figured it out. We should be able to do it in this conference. We should be battling for the top couple of spots every year. And we finished second this year, but in a down year, and it's not going to get you very far.
Yeah. And well, the challenge is it's been, so long since we've had consistent success that at some point being second isn't where we're going to be at it, or it is, I guess we have to be okay with it. But I think as you want to build a winning program, you want to build a winning, athletic department, you've got to be able to chip away and get some of these wins. You've got to figure out what like softball did, get yourself into a couple of opportunities to be successful, back-to-back years. Build the programs up. And right now, if you think about both, basketball and, baseball, softball, the women's programs are lapping the men's programs, exponentially in terms of success the last couple of years. So we'll see if baseball can respond. And, a tough one, 35-25. We'll see what Lovelady pulls together. Mike, I don't think this is the job ender for him, but we've got to figure something out here because I think this could be make it or break it.
Yeah. Well, too bad we don't have a women's football team because then they'd probably be even a lot better than the men's team too.
Hey-o. Well, speaking of that, Mike, you, my friend, you messaged me before and you said that you were doing some research. You've got some UCF observations that you've prepared. This is a staple during football season. We typically don't do this non-football, but it's the summertime, baby. This is where things get weird around here at Sons of UCF land. Content is thin, so I can't. I've been waiting all day now since you told me this to hear these UCF Mike observations. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, my friend, because I'm pumped up about what potentially could come out of these observations.
Yeah, it's a long weekend. I had a lot of time on my hands, a lot of time to think. A couple
Okay.
drive from here to Orlando back. So, a couple things I observed from the weekend. Do we need music for this segment too? Or are we going to start doing that? Or that's only for the picks, or that's only for the...
I mean, we haven't ever done it before. I mean, let me know now so I can edit it in. But maybe next week we'll see. It's a weird week. It's a holiday week, But if you need any sound effects, let me know. I got some. Do you need anything sound effects-wise?
You want to do the beeps or whatever?
I don't know if I have a good beep for you here. But, I mean, we'll practice this. Let's see what you got.
Adam?
Yes, Mike?
With spring practice now in the rearview window,
Okay.
and now that baseball season has come to an end with a thud in Clearwater, and softball's magical, historic run has come to an end in Oklahoma, you know what that means?
I don't.
Just like that,
Yeah.
the dog days of summer are back.
Is it
That's it.
rearview
We're
window
out of
or
sports.
is it window or mirror?
Rearview mirror.
You said rearview
said window.
window, yeah.
It could be the rear window.
It could be. It works either way. I hadn't heard that before. You just caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Continue.
You're right. So we're out of sports, right? Well, we got a couple track and field things going on. Renaya Jones still running around, but other than that, we got nothing. It's over.
Yeah, this is it. It's all. I think golf is done. I think tennis is done. The rowing may still be out there on the taking laps, but I think this is it, Mike. I think we're officially June 1 by the time you hear this. It is dog days of summer, my friend.
Eesh.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, let's see what we can do to keep ourselves occupied between now
Yes.
and fall camp.
Yeah.
All right. The Oklahoma softball team, those girls hit our pitching staff the way I hit off 12-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there were some monsters. That one girl dropped a bomb in that first game. It went over the bleachers. I don't know where the heck that thing landed. They were scary.
Yeah. Jada Cody hit a home run, though.
Yeah. Her first at bat, I thought she hit one out.
Yeah.
Right? In the top of the first inning, the first game, and it was warning track. But, it is what it is. The Suns have ourselves our first NIL athlete.
Hey.
I see this one coming.
Yeah.
How much are Gordon and Partners? How much? First of all, how much money are you and Trace hiding from me that Gordon and Partners is giving us? I mean, we can afford NIL deals now.
You didn't get the email?
I have no emails.
You gotta check your emails.
Receipts.
Yeah. I'll check your spam. Maybe it's in there. I love whenever someone sends an email and that you didn't get it, they tell you to check your spam. It's a good cop out. Yeah, who knows? NIL deals here, and I mean, it's a whole new era. I mean, who knows? The possibilities are endless.
Who's next? We got a football player lined up for this season. We got maybe some basketball.
You never know. I've got nothing to announce right now, but again, possibilities endless.
There will be more though.
Maybe.
Yes?
It depends if it's a lot of work. You got to call people and like write stuff up and whatnot. I mean, maybe. Possibility. If people are into it, we'll see. I mean, look, we have whatever small little platform we have here. If there's a way to integrate somebody that wants to have some fun and do some fun stuff, and that's I think for us is kind of the thing we want to do. I don't want to do the weekly like, so this weekend's game was tough, wasn't it? We want to do something fun, something different, something unique. So if we find somebody who's willing and able and interested in doing something like that, then they are Suns material, my friends. But it's going to take a special person.
All right. I mean, anything's possible. We have lawyers on our side now.
We do have. Thank God we finally have lawyers. Yes. So it was a glaring need for several years of the podcast. Luckily, we got to figure it out. And contracts, we got to figure that out too.
The Sons of UCF are getting mentions on ESPN2 on Friday, and then ESPN proper on Saturday.
Yep.
I mean, how cool! It wasn't the Sons of UFC. It wasn't the Sons of USF.
No.
Right? They got it right.
Yeah.
Sons of UCF mentioned a couple times on the worldwide leader, the mothership.
The WWL.
ESPN.
I do think we have a tip at the cap. I think Eric Lopez played a big role in that. I think he passed along some of the story to his compatriots at ESPN. So I think Elo gets a tip of the cap for sharing that story along.
Elo is by far my favorite black and gold banner guy, right?
Top 5 black and gold banner. Here we go.
Contest there. Yeah, Elo is one of my favorite UCF guys.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way.
That's probably better.
All right. Can't buy me love, but I can buy me some tickets to see Sir Paul McCartney on StubHub. $38.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't turn down that bargain. I got the cheapest seats in the house. I sat in the top row of the stadium, and I loved every second of it.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Yeah. So while I was there, obviously having a great time.
Yep.
I'm going to give you the top 5 songs that he sang that night.
Okay.
Now, these are not his top 5 songs ever. It's not the top 5 Beatles songs, but on the playlist that night and the way he did them, how they were, what made them the top 5.
Okay, I'm ready.
Number 5, Live and Let Die. And he had a big fireworks show to go with this one. A lot of people thought it was the grand finale. That's how the fireworks were so good. Very cool song. It's the only song on this list that's not a Beatles song. It's his song after he left from Wings and all. But it's a cool song. Got crowd pumped up. I thought he did a good job with it. You like that song? You like the movie, the James Bond? You ever see it or anything?
I think I've seen the movie. The Guns N' Roses version of Live and Let Die is pretty good too.
Yes, yes it is. Number 4, Get Back, which I think is maybe my favorite song. But
only number 4 on the list? Wow, underwhelming?
Yeah.
Wow. It was underwhelming, the performance?
No. It was good. It's just the other ones were so good that they jumped over it. Otherwise, it's probably been number 1 on my list most times. Great song. The way he did it was fantastic. The whole concert was great. But number 3, Hey Jude.
Okay.
Hey Jude is a great song, but it's a great concert song. You get the whole crowd into it. You do the whole thing. All right, just the fellas. Na 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 na.
Sure.
And then all right, just the ladies and all. And then then you get the whole crowd into it. It's a great, just fun song to sing with 50,000 of your closest friends.
Beautiful.
You like that one?
It's good. No, that's a good song.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out what number 2 and number 1 are. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Number 2 was Let It Be.
Okay.
Let It Be is a classic song.
Yep.
And, my love for the Beatles really comes from my dad. My dad was a huge, huge Beatles fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up listening to it as a kid. I knew all the songs growing up. So when that song came on, and we never said it on the show here, but my dad passed away a couple years ago. He was my best friend. I think about him all the time. And when certain songs come on, it just hits you.
Yep.
When this song came on and he was singing it, I was crying like a baby. I was sitting on the top row of the stadium crying like a baby. But it was great to see it, great to hear it. Yeah, so that was number 2. And the number 1 song, maybe not a song that a lot of people know, but I love it. And the way he did it was really cool. I've Got a Feeling, which is it's more of like a duet, him and John Lennon going back and forth. Obviously, John Lennon's been gone for quite a long time, but he did his parts. And then when the John parts came on, they had John come on the screen and he was singing his thing, and they went back and forth that way. I thought that was very cool. And it was the first song in the encore. And, I was pumped up when I saw that. I heard that it might happen, and then seeing it was even more cool.
All right, there we go. The official top 5 Paul McCartney songs.
Top 5 of the songs he played that night.
Okay, it's a good list.
Back to the observations.
Yeah, no, feel free.
The next day, we stuck around for another day. Winter Park Avenue. Nice little afternoon out there.
Okay.
I had never been to the area. It was nice for a little stroll. They got a little park area. They got some restaurants, shops. Killed a few hours.
We'll stroll. Okay.
Yeah, I got a suggestion though for single guys out there. I had my dog with me, and I suggest to any single man, go rent yourself a golden doodle and take a walk down the Winter Park Avenue, because it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It would have been so easy. You just walk around with a golden doodle down Winter Park.
There we go.
Take my suggestion, go around with it.
Boom.
Downtown Orlando. Yikes. What happened to this place? Where have you gone? Have a Nice Day Cafe and Chillers and Latitudes and Bar Orlando. I didn't know anything out there. The only place that I saw that looked familiar was Wall Street Cantina. Death Texas Wall Street Cantina is still out there. I don't know, man. I was there for 5 minutes. We got the heck out of there. Didn't seem like our vibe.
Yeah, I saw you posted on Twitter. You got a lot of responses back to telling you to get out and immediately. So I'm glad you heeded their warnings.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about downtown. It's not the downtown we remember.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's basically it. The only big other observation I had is waffle makers. Hotel waffle makers. Mm-hmm. I mean, my kids think that this is the coolest thing they've ever done. I take them up there. I take them to see Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles, in concert. Favorite part of the whole weekend, making waffles in the hotel. I don't know if I should get one for the house. You have one of these? You're not even a waffle fan, right? That's like your least of the... Yeah,
I go French toast, pancake, waffle, yeah. Someone once told me, though, that those are like the grossest machines in the world because they never clean out that thing with the batter in it or something. I had a buddy who knew somebody who worked at a hotel and was like, never eat the hotel waffles. I don't know if that's true, just the hotel that person was at, but that little thing, they never clean anything out. The thing that the batter is in, like it's just in there forever. I don't know. Do what you will with this information, but I've heard that that's not a fun potential experience.
It's like eating nachos at a stadium.
Yes.
I mean, do you think they're cleaning out that cheese thing?
Where's that cheese thing, man? That's a fair point. That's a very fair point, Mike. I'm glad you brought that up. So you obviously had a fun weekend. I stayed around the house, did some stuff. We contemplated going to the movies, Mike. I saw the new Top Gun was out. I have not seen it yet. Have you seen the new Top Gun Maverick?
Not the new one. I just watched the original.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked, and I asked for you. Mike, top 5 Tom Cruise movies.
We've done this already.
Have we done this already?
My top 5 times. Well, I did my top 5.
I don't know if I've done my. I painstakingly went over this list, Mike. Top 5 Tom Cruise movies.
When I went on my cruise, and then I said Tom Cruise was one of the top 5 cruises.
Yeah.
And then I did my Celia Cruz song.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did Tom Cruise top 5.
I don't know. Here's my top 5. This took a lot of time, and I'm going to be upfront about a couple things. One, I have not seen the new Top Gun, so it's not featured in this list. I have not seen it yet. 2, I can't stand Mission Impossible, so that's not in here either. All right, number 5, Mike. Are you ready for number 5?
Uh-huh.
We are going to go with Risky Business.
Okay.
Number 5.
I do like Risky Business. Yes.
Who doesn't? If you don't like Risky Business, I'm not sure what you're with you. Number 4, Mike. Days of Thunder.
I don't know if I've ever seen Days of Thunder.
Oh, Mike. You ever seen Days of Thunder? Rubbing his racing, Mike. You've never seen Days of Thunder. Cold Trickle. I mean, it's okay. All right. Well, Days of Thunder, number 4. Number 3. I know it's one of your personal favorites, Mike. Cocktail, number 3.
Yes. Cocktail's got to be on there.
Cocktail, number 3.
Mr. Young Flanagan. Very good movie. And Elizabeth Shue, you can't go wrong with that.
Number 2, the original Top Gun. Comes in number 2. Number 1, Tom Cruise movie. Jerry Maguire.
All right. Yeah, Jerry Maguire's got to be on there, too. You left off Color of Money.
I did.
That was one on my list.
I did. Left off Rain Man. And, the movie I really want to put in there, one of my all-time favorite Tom Cruise movies, probably not the most widely known, is The Firm, Mike. OLI. The Firm was OLI. It's right there in that 6th position. I really tried to find a way to get it into that top 5, but I just couldn't get The Firm in there.
Yeah. The Firm is a good one. What about A Few Good Men?
Few Good Men. Rain Man is another option. Yep.
And Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I mean, that was a great role. I didn't even know that was him until I saw the credits come up.
That's fair. Yeah. Those are my top 5 Tom Cruise movies. I don't know if they differ from yours. That's great. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I have to go back and see my list that I did a few months ago. I'm pretty sure I did Color of Money. I had Cocktail on there for sure.
Have we done top 5? Have we done top 5 beers yet?
Probably not.
All right, top 5 beers, Mike. You ready? Here we go. Memorial Day weekend. Always a good time to hang out with your friends, have a beer. Top 5 beers, Mike. Number 5, shower beer. That's like a good shower beer, because shower beer probably means you're on your way out someplace, right? So you're trying to economize, like, hey, I got to be someplace soon. You know, you're getting a little pregame situation moving. Shower beer, underrated beer. That's the number 5 beer.
I mean, yeah, you can't drink beer out of a glass, right? Because what happens if you break a glass in the shower, then you're really in trouble. So you cut your feet all apart.
Very good, yeah.
I've never. I mean, I've had a beer in the shower, but it's not my thing. I don't really. It gets hot in there. The shower's all hot and steamy. You want to keep your beer cold. I don't know if I like the shower beer.
Number 5. Number 4. A beer you're going to have when you're playing some sort of a non-athletic sporting game with your friends. Maybe cornhole, maybe horseshoes, maybe a little pong. So the cornhole, horseshoes, pong, flip cup kind of beer. That's the 4th beer, Mike, is a beer with a friendly competition that's not athletic.
Okay. But not like a drinking game beer, right? Where you're
no, because then you're just
mixing
you're just hammering.
Yeah. But yeah, you're just chilling out and you're playing cornhole. That's a nice beer to have.
All right. Number 3. All right. Number 3 is the free beer, Mike. Free beer is always a great beer. That is number 3. A free beer, that unexpected free beer is how I mean. And not like, hey, I'm going to go to someone's house. Like when someone's like, hey, I got an extra beer, or you end up with a beer at the table, or it's a 2-for-1 situation. Nothing better than the free beer. Except for 2 other things.
Yeah, I don't know how that's not number 1 on the list.
Yeah, I know. It should be number 1, but my first 2, I can't bump my first 2, Mike. My second beer, the beer that you have while you're in the pool. This is that you're in the pool, you're maybe waist deep, you're chest deep, you're holding that beer up and you're kind of wading around the water, you're in the pool. You're not supposed to have a drink at the pool anyway. I think there's rules against that, but you don't care. You're in the pool, you've got your beer in your hand. Nothing better than an in the pool beer. Not around the pool, not outside the pool, not looking at the pool. In the pool beer, number 2.
Yeah, maybe I'm floating around on one of those rafts.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that.
There's something liberating about being in the pool with your beer, because you're not supposed to be there. Maybe.
I mean, I guess public pools maybe, but you have your own pool, you can do whatever you want.
All right, and the first beer, the number one beer, Mike, is that first beer at the football tailgate. Nothing better than a game's coming on, you're with your friends, you got 7 hours of drinking ahead of you. That first beer at the tailgate when football season is here, you can feel it, you can see it, you can sense it. You crack open that first one, and you got 5 great months of football ahead of you, Mike. Nothing. That's why that's the number one beer. Even free beer is not a number 3 because you can't top a tailgate beer. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, I mean, especially early September, maybe sometimes late August, it is hot. By the time you get all your stuff to the tailgate, you get set up, you set up your tent, you do all that stuff, you're sweating. As soon as you crack that thing open, it's fantastic. Yeah. Same thing at the beach. Now that I'm saying it that way. I mean, a beach first beer after I set up the tent and the chairs and all that stuff. Nice cool down with a nice cold beer.
Yeah, that's fair. It was on the list. The other options, the outside looking ins on this one, Mike, was the beer you drink while you're manning the grill, right? So you're cooking, you're flipping burgers and steaks, but you still got that beer nearby, and who knows why you don't really need it, but you still need it while you're sitting there drinking. Airport beer, that's a tough one. Depending on where you're going, you could be celebrating. You're on the way there, maybe something fun. Airport beer is an option. I had a beach beer as an option as well, but it also depends on how long you're going to be there, what time of day it is. There's a lot of variables in the beach beer. So those were the outsides looking in.
Yeah, I like the airport beer. That's a good one because you're either starting a vacation, or you're on your way home one last day. Right before the flight, you have a couple beers. Really, is there any bad beer? There's no bad time to have a beer.
Well, I mean, probably like kindergarten graduation beer probably isn't a good idea. I'm sure there's a couple of options. Top 5 worst ideas to have a beer. No, yeah.
Do you drink beer during your kids'
This is a controversial. I'm glad you've asked this question, Mike. This is a controversial topic I've had with a lot of my friends. I refuse to be the dad that's hammered at the U14 soccer game, right? And I think I might be the only one because I know some of the parents down the road there. We've all got our little lawn chair set up, and I'm looking over at Jeff. I'm like, Jeff's got something in that. That's not water in that 72 ounce Yeti. There's no way that's water in there. So I have abstained. I'm proud to tell you, I have not yet had a drink at any of my children's athletic events.
Yeah, I have not either. That's probably because I'm coaching. And that would be a really bad look, standing in the dugout or on the field drinking a beer. So that's not happening. No, I don't know. You can't get drunk. That's for sure.
You shouldn't.
You can't get drunk at the kids' game. But I don't think there's anything too bad about it. If you want to, in disguise, have a beer inside your Yeti and maybe a little Bloody Mary for an early soccer game or something, I could see that working.
Yeah, I
haven't done it.
I'm not opposed. I just feel like that there's some lines. I try not to cross. There's some things you just don't. All right, that's maybe a little bit, and that's the line for me. I'm not going to drink at the kid. Now, if they're selling it at the game or something, some sort of a. Raising some money for a trip, then maybe I'd be into it. But, I'm not going to bring a thermos full of White Claw, to the 11 a.m. JFC versus the, St. Augustine Armada game. This is not going to be me. It's not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Some of these parents and things will cause you to want to drink. So you get on the wrong team and you don't really want to hang out with these people. You never know.
We've had this discussion, my wife, who is on the show in a few minutes here, we've had this discussion before. I've asked this question a lot about kids' birthday parties. And she'd be like, hey, Betty down the street, it's little Tanner's birthday this weekend, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. They want us to go to the party there. It's at the park. Okay. I'm like, is there going to be booze? She's like, I don't know. Well, can you find out? She's like, well, how am I supposed to ask? Is there booze? I'm like, just curious. Maybe there'll be booze there. So I never know the rules on the little kid's birthday party and the booze either.
Yeah. If it's a kid that I don't know, it's like some friend from school and I've never met the parents and all that stuff before, I probably won't drink anything. But if I show up and they have beer and they offer me one, and I may take one, but I'm not going to drink to drink. I'll have one or two. That'll be about it.
Well, social, okay.
But if it's a family member's birthday party, a cousin,
look out, world.
Forget it. Yeah, I'm warning my wife beforehand. I'm not driving home, so we'll figure that part out.
I love a good one. All right, I mean, are you? So that's all the observations you got?
Yeah.
Right. I'm on a top 5 list. That feels like a segment.
Right.
Let's do breaks here. We'll come back. We've got the revamped I Object, which is probably the same as you're used to, and then we'll get on with the show after that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is UCF head football coach Gus Malzahn, and you should listen to the Sons of UCF like your hair is on fire. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, so we've realized that I Object, Mike. It's been a little rocky. We're trying out something new thanks to our friends at Gordon and Partners, who are the proud sponsor of the Sons of UCF. This is inspired by them, Mike. So we tried this I Object thing. I don't know if it's really working very well, and I realized we're missing something. You know that we something was just missing, Mike. And I was racking my brain what it could be, and only one thing came to mind. So if you're a longtime fan of the show, and by the way, we love you for that. You probably remember one thing that was a staple of the show, and ladies and gentlemen, it's back. Say hello to the announcer girl.
Hello.
Yes, this is what we've needed.
This is it. This is we've now officially made it back, Mike. So the announcer girl is going to read one of these hot topic provocative statements. And then, Mike, you and I get to decide if we object. And she wrote these on her own. These are her own thoughts and opinions. So this is her hot takes, Mike. This is her time to shine. And you and I get to decide if we object to any of her opinions. So that's where we're at. Stephanie, are you ready to reintroduce yourself back to the Sons of UCF audience?
I think so, but this is a lot of pressure.
You're going to be fine. Everything's good, though? You're all right?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So, Mike, are you prepared for Stephanie's hot takes? And you tell us if you object. Here we go. Here's take number 1 from Stephanie.
Terry Mohajer announced at the Charge On Tour that the initial drawings of the UCF football stadium project, particularly the seats in the upper south end zone, might change. In fact, he said UCF is going to pivot. Guys, Terry and UCF clearly seem unprepared when it comes to this new football campus planning.
Very well read, by the way. Mike, do you object to that statement that Timo and UCF are unprepared with this new football project?
I don't object. I don't know that they're unprepared as much as they didn't know what they were getting themselves into with that. He even said those plans came out. He hadn't even watched a football game yet at that stadium, so he didn't know what the game day was like at that time. So I think they were making a mistake putting it in the end zone anyway. I've made that clear. I think if you're going to add premium sections and premium seats, you got to put them in the premium spots somewhere along the 50. So maybe they'll move that whole tower over to that side of the stadium, or maybe they'll expand the Roth Tower and do something else over there. But I don't know if he's unprepared other than he just doesn't know exactly what it was until now. He's getting a better idea after experiencing a season.
Steph, I love you, but I don't think I can object to this one either, because I think a lot of these plans, like you said, were drawn up in advance because they wanted to obviously showcase, what the new football facilities could look like, for Big 12 or any conference at that point in time. So I think a lot of the things he had, they were very aspirational in nature. And the price tag probably scared him away a little bit too. And I think he recognizes that there's a demand for season tickets. There's a demand for tickets. And the student section seems to be where he's thinking, hey, we can kind of keep some of that camaraderie together. He still mentions he has to find ways to add premium seating. So to your point, Mike, where that ends up moving to, I don't know. But maybe this means other things around, that project are going to be held back. He did specifically mention Recovery Cove or McNamara Cove, whatever we're calling it these days, is still kind of on a go project. So I'm not sure if they're unprepared. I think they moved quickly and recognized, okay, now that we have this thing for real, let's pivot to some better ideas. Let's put some more thought to this stuff. So, Stefan, I think we both we don't object. We don't object. We object to your statements. Yes, I think we both object. We think that they're not unprepared. I'm sorry, you lose the first one.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay, good. I'm glad it worked out well for you.
All right, are you guys ready for number 2?
Hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
Also, at the Charge On Tour, Terry Mohajer said that he was involved with a team down south about playing UCF, but that coaches got in the way and declined. While not saying the school, he strongly hinted it was Miami. Guys, I'm sure it is fun for us to talk about, but this doesn't mean Miami is scared to play us.
Mike, is Miami scared to play us?
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like the AD is scared, but it sounds like Cristobal wanted nothing to do with playing us, and you can't really blame them. I guess you know where they're coming from with that. They have that same mentality where they have nothing to gain by beating us and only reputation to lose. We saw what happened with the Gators after we beat them. So, but Miami's always been a school that prided themselves on not being scared of anyone. So it is a little surprising that this is happening. Maybe it's because it's his first year. Maybe if it was in a couple of years from now, maybe he would be more likely to schedule it. But, you usually schedule these games 5-6 years down the road anyway. So I say he is scared.
See, I agree. I don't think this means they're scared. I think this means they're smart, because I think he knows if he gets on the field with UCF, there's a very good chance that his team doesn't come out on top. And if we know one thing about Mario is that he's known to be a recruiter. He's known to be somebody that can go in living rooms and sell kids on coming to school there. And if he goes to play UCF, and even if it's a home and home, and we end up winning those games, that takes away a lot of the sell from his his shine, right? He's going to be a recruiter. That's what he's kind of put his mark to. So I don't know if it's scared as much as it's smart, right? It's smart for him to say, I don't want any part of that, because the risk reward ratio for Miami is pretty low, right? And if they lose those games, now not only does he have an up and coming program in UCF with Gus Malzahn going to the Big 12. I mean, we'll see what this does to Florida. Now, they had a coaching change, so maybe Billy Napier has something up his sleeve. But I don't know if it's scared as much as it's smart. And I think about ourselves, 20 years from now, let's just say, and we're riding off national championships, and University of West Florida, is up and coming, wants to play us. I probably would maybe want to do the same thing. So I'm not going to say he's scared, but I say it's smart. It's very calculated. But I do think it all kind of comes to the genesis of the fact that the risk reward of playing us and the loss that they're going to take, I don't think is worth it for what he wants to build long term.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying that he's scared.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, everyone's on Twitter taking victory laps and all this stuff. I mean, scheduling stuff is really hard to do, right? It to your point, it comes out years, months, decades in advance in a lot of situations. So I think it's the smart thing for him to say, hey, I want no part of this. Let me build Miami back up for a little bit, and let's say in 3-4 years they've established themselves, or a more consistent team. Then maybe he wants to come back and say, okay, let's do this thing now. But I think right now he's probably doing the smart thing and saying, let me build a program, see if I can do anything here, and then we'll check back later and see where we're at. So I don't object to that, or maybe I do object to that. Yeah, I object. Mike doesn't object. Mike.
We're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, we'll figure all that. All right, Stephanie. Who's winning so far, Mike or me?
I think you guys are tied.
Oh, we're tied. Congratulations, Mike. All right, here we go with Stephanie's hot take number 3. This time louder into the microphone.
All right.
Get your paperwork ready. You knew this was coming to you, right? Okay.
Johnny Dawkins spoke with Trace at the Charge On Tour, which you can find on the Sons of UCF YouTube page, and said that he wasn't concerned about the transfer portal because it works both ways and allows you to improve your roster. Guys, Johnny is clearly trying to cover for himself, right?
So Johnny told Trace, thanks for the plug on the YouTube page, by the way. Johnny told Trace that, hey, transfer portal is a great way for you to get your team better and get your team to improve as well. Don't look at the 17 guys who left our team. Think about all the great talent we can bring in, Mike. I do not object to this. Johnny is clearly trying to cover himself and put a positive spin on the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, if he really believed that, he would have had these transfers coming in before these other guys left, right? You get better players, and then you tell the other guys you can't play here anymore because we're replacing you with better players. That's obviously not what happened here. All our guys left, and now he's scrambling to find somebody just to fill in the roster. So he's not wrong that the transfer portal is not all bad. It can work to your benefit. But in this case, so far this season, I'm kind of happy most of the guys decided to leave because I wasn't happy with that team anyway. But I could see both sides of it from Johnny's side. He's got to say that though. He's got to put the positive spin on it, no matter what.
Yeah, he's clearly covering, right? He's clearly trying to say, hey, nobody freak out. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to get better. And then he mentioned all the guys he brought in and the talent that they brought back. And again, we have no idea if these guys can play together. We have no idea if they can gel together. My favorite part of that conversation, though, was Johnny recognizing when Trey said that some of his guys got plucked from the transfer portal. I don't know if Johnny likes the word plucked. I said plucked.
Yeah. My favorite part of all those interviews was when he was doing the Mohajer one, and Terry didn't even know that they started. He was, oh, we started already.
He still might not know. I have no idea. All right, so I think we are both in agreement on that one. We don't object. We think Johnny is trying to cover himself. So, Stephanie, you're going to have to stump us now. You're going to have to get better with these things. I mean, I know it's your first time. You're getting back in the swing of things. You know, what do you got for number 4? You got anything better?
You have to give me the microphone.
Okay.
Well, at least this one doesn't have any hard last names in it. In one of the promotional videos that UCF released, some super sleuth UCF fans recognized a new sword logo was quickly flashed on screen. If you look at it closely, it also looks like a launching rocket ship. While I'm sure we are all for updating our brand and getting some new stuff, this new sword looks kind of cartoonish, right?
Mike, did you see, by the way, great job on Super Sleuth. I thought that almost tripped you up. Mike, did you see the new potential UCF sword logo that was released?
I did see it, and it only looks like that rocket ship is if you flip it upside down, I think, right? From the way it was.
Yes.
I wasn't too crazy about it. When I first saw it, I thought it would look a little funny. There's something a little off about it. A little phallic, too much for my taste. But, I don't know. It's one of those things that may just grow on me after time, and there you go with that.
was that intentional?
It may grow on me, but at first glance, no, I didn't really like it. I don't know if it's really necessary with all the other stuff we have going on already, anyway. So it could just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes from here. Maybe I'll start to like it after a little while. Right now, I wasn't too crazy about it.
Yeah, I guess so. The question is it looks kind of cartoonish. I don't object to that because it was a really weird. Sort of drawing. And I guess my question is, where or how are we going to use it? Is it going to be on uniforms? Is it going to be like, on the neck collar of the football jersey? Is it going to be on the, the side panel of the basketball shorts? Like, where is that sword logo going to make an appearance? How is it going to be used? Is it just going to be something that is just used as part of online marketing or branding? I wouldn't want that thing on a helmet for sure. I don't think I'd want it on a jersey for sure. So right now, if that's going to be like a main logo and a main feature on the uniform, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it the way it looks now. But if it's just something that you put on a pamphlet or a flyer or something, or you put on your social media account, I guess I could live with it. But if it's a main feature, I think we got to figure something out there.
Yeah, no, the new thing is the new Nighthead. That's what on all the hats and T-shirts. I don't think anybody's buying a sword hat, right, with this thing on it. So.
I may buy you one now just because I recognize how much you love the phallic shaped nature of that logo.
Yeah. Well, let's see how they use it, I guess.
Well, all this comes, obviously there's a rebrand coming at some point. New uniforms are expected for this year for the football team. We haven't seen anything yet. There probably should be some news hopefully coming out here in the next couple of weeks or so about what that looks like. So this could be a hint. Obviously, it wasn't something that was announced. Somebody literally paused the video and was like, what the hell is that? So we'll see if this is a part of that whole new branding part. But new uniforms coming soon, always exciting. But you can keep your rocket ship to yourself. All right. Steph, your last one here, your final question here for the I Object. How have you enjoyed your return to the program?
It would be great, but I would love a seat next time, so I'm not sitting on the floor.
Okay, we'll work on a chair next time. We don't take complaints around here. All right, get to your last one and get out of here.
All right, I saved the most important one for last. Yeah. Lastly, the Charge on Tour also brought a question about alcohol sales at the football stadium next year. I know both of you are season ticket holders in the Cabana. Trust me, I've seen the bill, which allows you to purchase alcohol. Mm-hmm. If UCF opens that up to the entire stadium, that cheapens our season tickets. So this is a bad idea.
Ooh, so Stephanie, very bitter about the season ticket bill, apparently, is saying that, Mike, because we are Cabana season ticket holders and we get the option to buy alcohol, if that's open to the whole stadium, it cheapens our tickets. What are your thoughts on that, Mike? Booze for everybody?
Yeah, I agree with that statement. It does cheapen our tickets. That is the biggest perk of sitting in the Cabana, is being able to buy alcohol, right? The other big things are, You're at the middle of the field, which
Mm-hmm.
I love, having the 50-yard line seats. You get the better seats. I mean, it's not the bleachers, and you actually have chair backs and all that. But the main perk is the alcohol. If they're going to open that up for the entire stadium, you got to give me something else to keep me in the cabana.
Are we going to hot dogs? Are we going hot dogs here?
No, you're going to have to upgrade the food.
Oh, wow.
So instead of hot dogs.
What's the upgrade of hot
The
dog?
first year, the cabana, they had, I think it was 4 rivers, and all the food was included.
Mm.
And, I mean, you need to go back to that. You know, throw in some kind of other perks, food-wise, or like I said 100 times, I even mentioned to Mohajer, give me that beer delivery service again, so I don't have to get up and get my beer, to send them right to my seats. You got to do something. You got to upgrade the concourses or the bathrooms, so where I don't have to run downstairs every time I want to use the bathroom because the line in the upstairs one is too long. So if you're going to open up the alcohol for everybody, you got to make some kind of progress in that cabana to keep it as a premium seat.
Same with the Tower Club, obviously across the way. Same thing with Tower Club. They have the same sort of advanced purchase items over there too. Yeah, I mean, so the net of it, selling booze throughout the stadium obviously is a revenue increase, right? So it offers more opportunities for revenue across the stadium. So that may make some sense. But to your point, Mike, there needs to then be something done, and this is like first world problems, by the way, but to make sure that, maybe you can only buy like, Natty Light or something like that the rest of the stadium, and you have more premium selection in the cabanas. To your point, maybe there's food options, because I do wonder as a season ticket holder, if you're in that area, you're like, well, wait a minute, I might as well just downgrade. To your point, there's a bathroom right here. I'll sit on the bleachers, whatever. I might as well just downgrade and save myself a couple $100 a ticket and go sit here. So UCF's going to have to come up with something in terms of having. Do you have an objection outside of that to there being booze throughout the entire stadium? I can't imagine you would have an objection to that. I can't think of one reason why you would object to that.
No, I mean, if I'm sitting in one of those other sections, I would love it if they sold beer. But people don't know how to act. That's true, too. Like, we've seen it for years, going back to the Citrus Bowl. How many times do we see fights breaking out in the stands with everybody's hammered? Now, I realize everybody's just getting drunk before they get into the stadium. But before there was a cabana, I used to be in the same situation. They didn't sell alcohol out there. I was in section, I think, 132, 133 when the stadium first opened. And, you would drink hard before the game, and then you'd be sober by the time the game was over. I don't know. I'm fine with them selling it everywhere because I understand we need the money, but you just got to give something else for me if I'm going to stay in the cabana. Otherwise, like a guy like me, I go to 1 or 2 games a year. I sell those other seats, and that's going to be a lot harder to make your money back on selling those seats.
Mm-hmm.
If people can just buy cheaper seats outside the cabana. So I'm not for it unless they do something else with it. Well,
Timo strongly hinted that you may be hearing something on this soon, which means I imagine this is some sort of a conversation topic that at some point in time we'll be rolling out. So then you do object. You don't want to see alcohol sales unless it comes with a perk for UCF, Mike. More hot dogs. What's the upgrade of a hot dog, by the way? Bratwurst? What's after that?
I mean, give me some sloppy Joe sandwiches or something. I don't know.
Sloppy Joes. I can't believe you didn't take potato salad there. That was a key setup, and you blew right past it.
Yeah, some barbecue ribs, some chicken wings, something. They can have better food options.
All right. Well, I object. I think it's come to an end, unless you object to that, Mike.
No.
Stephanie, you think you're off the hook? We appreciate you hopping in for another. Do you want to say goodbye to anybody? Anything else you want to share before you leave?
I think that's it. I hope you all enjoyed.
Okay, all right. Stephanie hopes everybody enjoyed, and that's our object, Mike. Let's take a break here, and coming up after this, we've got an interesting interview. Somebody that you probably his name will be familiar, and it might be one of those. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, and it's a really interesting story. So don't go anywhere. We'll have a fun conversation for you right after this.
This is UCF Athletic Director Terry Mohajer, and in my spare time, when I'm not on TikTok, I'm listening to Adam and Mike on the Sons of UCF. Go Knights and charge on!
All right, Mike. Let's get prepared for the guest this week. Again, a guy whose name you probably remember. His career at UCF got cut kind of short. Injuries and some other things off the field sort of played a role. Mike Jawon Hamilton, starting running back. Folks forget starting running back in 16 and 17. and unfortunately didn't finish the year at 17 with UCF. Mike, and has since moved on to other schools, but it was cool to catch up with him. And even though he only was there at UCF, he was part of so many big teams. It was really cool to hear his story and some of the memories. And I thought he was honest about a lot of different things that he experienced in his career.
Yeah, and coming into that 17 season, he was going to be the starting running back. He was the starting running back to start the year, which is saying a lot considering who else is in that running back room. I mean, over AK, over Otis, and all those guys that year. So he was a very talented player, and it's a shame what happened, the injury, and we didn't get to see him at his best at UCF for 4 years. So I think we got robbed on that because of the injury.
Yeah. Either way, good dude, and still got some football dreams a lot ahead of him. So let's catch up with Jawon Hamilton. All right, so let's bring in Jawon Hamilton now. Jawon, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on the show tonight.
Thank you guys for allowing me to be on your platform.
Well, we appreciate it. Let's start at the very beginning. You're a kid out of Miami, and I know you had offers from Miami and a bunch of other schools. So can you take us through your recruiting process and how you ultimately decided to come to UCF?
Oh, man. So my offer started probably rolling in around, like, my senior year, maybe, like, right before. We had, like, a little game before. I forgot the name of it. I think we played Coconut Creek. I got my first offer from a FCS school called Prairie View A&M. I think that's the name of it. And whatever, I had a pretty good game that game. And a few weeks later, FIU offered me. Then I committed to FIU for maybe 2 weeks. I was committed there for a little bit. I just wanted to lock in somewhere just in case I don't get any other scholarships. Then, the season got rolling, and, I was having a pretty good senior season, and I started getting offers from, Miami, Syracuse, Louisville, and stuff like that. And I ended up just, committing to Miami. I committed to Miami for a while, but I committed to the interim head coach, who was the interim head coach at the time, was Larry Scott. Mm-hmm. Mark Richt was on his way in, and unfortunately, he didn't honor my scholarship. So I had to, look into my other offers, and then Coach Scott Frost got there, offered me at UCF. I took my visit, man, and it was just everything I wanted in a college, man. And I committed right on the visit, and I loved it. So it went from there.
Well, your boys had to give you some grief, right? Because UCF didn't win a game the year before, right? We go 0-12 that season in 2015. You had to have gotten some grief from people like, bro, you're going to a school that didn't win a game last year.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, I saw what was, I just saw something special, on my visit, man. I just felt like, the vibes and, just the energy from the coaches. And I kind of saw their vision, what they were trying to do with the program. And I kind of, just visualized it and put myself in, I just thought, how I could fit here at UCF, and sat down and thought about it, and, it made sense for me. So, I talked it over with my family. Along with the great relationships the coaches built with me, with Kevin Smith and Scott Frost and, those guys, Coach Ryan Hill, they recruited me pretty hard, so I just felt, that energy. So I just felt it was important for me to return the energy back.
What were your biggest goals going into that season? Did you come in expecting to start right away? Did you think you were going to run for 1,000 yards your freshman year? Do you have any specific goals coming in?
Actually, no. Honestly, my goal was to come in and be a sponge, and soak up as much, knowledge as possible, from the older guys, and, just, I also come in and work. I'm not coming in. I didn't have plans of coming in and redshirting, I can tell you that, but I'm not going to tell you that, I had plans of starting either. I just had plans of coming in there and being the best version of myself, and doing so led to great things, and I just thank God for that, and, thank God for the people he placed me around, for that to be able to happen. So,
were you able to get to campus early, or were you just not there until the fall?
Well, I didn't get there until the fall because I had, in the summer, like June, something. I don't know. I don't remember. I think around June. But because I had some eligibility issues going on too, as far as SAT scores and all that. So I kind of had to, because I ended up passing the SAT on the last chance I was able to pass it. So my scores took a little while to actually get in So when it got in, technically when I enrolled at UCF, I still didn't have my score. So I think I was looking at something like a gray shirt at first. That was in a discussion or something like that. But my test scores end up coming in around, the first or second week I enrolled, and I got the green light, so I was ready to go.
Was there a point in practice, maybe right there in the fall, where you think you're going to get a shot to be a major contributor on this team? Or coaches let you know where you were on the depth chart?
Oh, man, coaches made it very clear from day one that, because they were new coaches, everyone was new that, there was no guaranteed starting spots. Everybody got to earn their spot, so that was pretty big, so, the competitive level of practice was pretty high, because everybody, is obviously trying to work to be a starter, and it's, you still got to impress the new coaches, let them get a feel of you. So just the energy, man, and just knowing that, keeping that in the back of my head, kind of what fueled me to, just go out there every day and put the work in, along with the great coaches that was placed around me too. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Scott Frost offense. How hard was it to pick up? How long did it take you to kind of really get your hands and your arms around the playbook?
Oh, man. Coach, I can tell you this, it's very creative. It's like he has one of those type of playbooks where you have to pay attention to every detail of the play, because if you miss one little detail of the play, like you literally got to look at the whole entire play, because if you miss one detail, man, you probably did mess up something. It's just it's very like detail oriented, and you just got to pay attention. You just pay attention and play fast. You got to really be able to play fast. You got to be able to read the plays and line up quick and you know what you're doing. You got to just basically just know what you're doing and do it quickly.
Well, as a true freshman, how much time are you spending in the playbook? I mean, are we talking like hours after practice, after class? Like how much time were you investing in having to learn the playbook inside and out?
Definitely. Pretty much, you obviously got, you have position meetings, probably every day. But, also it's important for you to do it on your own, So I would like be in the playbook, I get back in my dorm room. I probably commit maybe like 30 minutes to an hour a day just looking over the playbook myself. I wasn't doing that at first, but, Kevin Smith, he was always on top of me about that. He was always on top of me about doing stuff like that and how it helped him, because he played at the highest level. So, you always want to take advice from a guy who played at the highest level. And, he's also a great coach. So I kind of soaked that in. Like I said, I just wanted to be a sponge. And, I kind of listened to him. And, when I started doing so, I just started noticing myself just picking up the playbook quickly. Like I just started picking it up quickly, and also, you also study with my teammates. You had Mackenzie Milton around, and you had AK, Adrian Killens. It's just we all like kind of picked it up then, in our 7-on-7 sessions we had with each other and stuff like that. So, yep, we made sure we all made sure we learned that playbook.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up AK. He was my next question for you. Obviously, he came in same year you did, true freshman. How competitive were you two? Two true freshman running backs. Obviously, there's only one ball to be had at one time, right? How competitive were you and AK when you guys both got to campus?
Oh man, so we both knew that we brought two different ball games. As far AK is a speedster. I had more of like. I got some speed to me too, but I can also I can run with a little power, so it was just very competitive, just having him in the room, he just fuels the competition because he's the guy that can go 99 yards at any second. He was just one of those guys, man. You just loved having the room. AK brought the energy. He was just always an energizing bunny, just one of those guys that's always messing with people. Like he gonna make sure he get a smile out you, and he's just very playful. We had older guys and Travis Wilson and Taj McGowan. Me and AK would kind of like be a little brother to those guys, and kind of be a pest at the same time. But it's just all good vibes, man. All good energy in the running back room. Just having AK in that room was just nothing else but great.
Yeah, you mentioned the other guys, Taj and Wilson. it's a pretty crowded room with all these running backs. How does that work out with the rotation in practices, getting the same amount of reps, or is the starting running back getting the majority of the carries back there during practice, or how does it work?
Well, no, because remember I said like at first, it wasn't no starter, so we all kind of, coaches did a good job of throwing in, a lot of different drills and stuff for us all, to show our abilities. It's just as far as teams, I think they did a real good job splitting up the reps and making sure we all get equal reps. So, we all get equal opportunities to earn a starting job, so then, as practices kept going on, they kind of get a clue and, they kind of split up the reps like that. Okay, you start going with the first team, you go with the second team and stuff like that. But all in all, I can say it was great competition just from day one, just as far as, and then me and AK, we started later than those guys. Coach Frost got there in the spring. And so, the older guys had, the whole spring to learn the playbook and stuff, but I feel like they did a great job helping us learn it too, man. Like, I definitely got to say that about Travis Wilson, Taj McGowan, Mike Willett, CJ Jones. I'm pretty sure it's more. Cedric Williams. I don't want to miss no names, but all those guys, man, they brought us in and they made sure we learned that playbook. It wasn't no jealousy, no nothing. It was all love at the end of the day.
All right, well, let's get to the season now. We win the first game, which was a big deal because, like we said, we didn't win a game at all the year before. Then we go up to Michigan. They beat us up pretty good. But then we get that home game against Maryland where I think you had a pretty big day that day, 65 yards. You're averaging about 5.4 a carry. But that was a tough loss, right? I mean, that was McKenzie, the game where he fumbled like 8 times.
Yeah, but
we were in it.
But you know what? McKenzie made a name that game too, though. Because that's the game he came in at like halftime, right, or something like that. Because he wasn't starting yet, I don't think. Then something happened, and he ended up coming in the game, if I'm not mistaken. And he kind of changed the game and probably made one little slip up at the end of the game, But he's a young guy, and man, that whole, the first 2 games, man, it was just a unreal feeling. Like I said, I dream for moments like that, man. And to be the starting running back, the first game of the season, that was really big for me, man. Like, looking up and seeing my family in the crowd and, just doing everything that I wanted to do, and, then we played Maryland, a bigger opponent, because the first game I think was against South Carolina State. Then we played Maryland, so that's kind of like, the up to par opponent, so I knew I had to come bring it that game. It didn't go perfect, but it went pretty good. We didn't get the W, but I just feel like collectively we could have played a little better as a group, but I could tell I knew we were going in the right direction after that game because we kept a pretty good game with those guys. So yeah, I think
it was McKenzie's first start, maybe.
It probably was his first start. Then that's probably what it was. I know that's the game he people woke up on him.
Yep.
Yeah, because he came in Michigan, right? Because Holman got hurt in Michigan, and actually Nick Patty came in. I think that was his first start. I think everyone expected Nick Patty to start that game, but Frost made KZ the starter.
Yep, Patty came in that game. Yep, you're right.
But what was the reaction in the locker room after? I mean, it's a tough loss, overtime loss, but we hung in there with these guys. Was everybody kind of? I mean, it's not a moral victory, but you're feeling good that you're competing with these teams, especially guys that were there the year before, or didn't experience a win.
Well, after a loss, everybody, it's a loss. A loss is a loss at the end of the day. But I feel like everyone saw the potential in the room, so we kind of approached practice with a different attitude, and just came in and worked, like really worked, because I feel like everyone saw what we can really do if we put this thing together, man. So, and that's ultimately what we did. And as far as just from a personal standpoint, like I say, I was just proud to be able to run the ball in that game, man, and just do what I could do to help us get the W, even though we didn't. But I think at one point they said something about me and McKenzie was the first 2 freshmen to be starting at the same time or something like that, because he was a freshman quarterback and I was a freshman running back. So I think we were the only 2 freshmen duo ever at that time, something like that, something wild like that. I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but yep, I remember somebody saying that.
Well, 2 weeks later, we go to ECU, and third quarter, you punch in a 2-yard touchdown, the first of your college career. Take us back to that play. What do you remember about that first touchdown against ECU?
Oh man, I remember. I think I got like a little regular running back dive type of play, and I thought I was tackled short. All I know is I just happened to, when I got up, I saw the ref put his arms up. So I'm like, oh snap, did I score? I thought I was short though, because I was in a pile, but I guess I had I got to get that to my O-line. I think they really got me in there because, I was kicking my feet, but they were also pushing me in there. Then eventually I guess I fell forward, so
wow.
I got to give it to those guys.
So breaking news, your first touchdown, you didn't think was actually a touchdown.
No, yeah, I didn't. I thought I was short because I was actually like, dang. But when I looked up, they said touchdown. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, you take that. Well, Mike talked about the Maryland game. If there was another game that 16 season that was just a killer, was that Temple game. We had a huge lead in that game. We ended up losing it late, obviously. A last-second, really weird touchdown pass from P.J. Walker over to Neville Clark, and we ended up losing by a point. That one had to hurt, right? As a young team, what do y'all say to each other after a game like that, right? Because you're still trying to find your way. Like you said, you and KZ, leaders on offense, you guys are young, a lot of younger guys on that squad. What did you guys talk about after that game in the locker room when you lose a tough one like that to Temple?
Man, I think from what I can remember, because that was a little minute ago, but from what I can remember, I think we just talked about, obviously we know how close we were and, how we should have finished that off. And we just most importantly, we just wanted to make sure we correct what went wrong in the game in practice. So, we wanted to make sure everybody keep their head up and make sure, we're going to keep this thing going the right way. Don't get down on yourself. This doesn't define how our season going to be and stuff like that. So I kind of think we took it in that direction after that loss and, kept running with it.
The team started playing a lot better after that game, actually. We beat up UConn on the road. Even the Houston game, they were heavy favorites that one. We played really well with them on the road. And then we had a couple big wins, Tulane, Cincinnati. And it looks like finally this thing's figured out. We're 6-4 heading into the last couple games. And then we run into Tulsa and South Florida. What happened there at the end of the year? Did the team just get worn down, or what was it those last two games?
I think we got complacent because, I feel like, the year before that, like I said, the guys knew, we didn't even get not one win. So, I feel like we got, not going to say complacent, I'm going to say comfortable. I feel like we got comfortable. We got the 6 wins, or we got the bowl game instead of finishing out strong. We knew we was bowl eligible. So I feel like that has something to do with us just not finishing out strong, especially after going 0-12, so it's just one of those situations, that's where we messed up at, just getting comfortable. But I guarantee you that's probably what it was, on top of just a lot of other mental errors, just mistakes that just shouldn't have happened, it just happened. But that's probably what I can say about that.
Yeah, the end of that game in Tampa, when they run in that last touchdown on us, that could have got a little ugly, right? You guys were kind of pissed. I was pissed off when they did that.
Yeah.
Take us on the field. What were some of the words being shared between the two teams after that?
Oh man, that's a rival, USF and UCF. You know how that year. So from the very beginning of the game, it's just everyone's just on another type of timing out there. It's just on some like, you treating them. I mean, they are enemies, but you just treat them like, like we hate these people. It's real like rivals. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of trash talk going on that game from what I can remember. I know I would get tackled and guys talk their stuff, but it's just college football. I won't only just say that about them. That's just college football in general. But man, I just know for a fact. I can't remember everything, but I know for a fact against the USF, guys was just on there like, let's just get them. Like, we hate these guys. We just knew they were our rival and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. So those two games don't go well. And then I think the ugliest game of that whole year, the Cure Bowl against Arkansas State. I mean, they shut us down. They beat us special teams, offense, defense. What the heck happened that day? Did everybody just sleepwalk through that day?
Man, I think what happened is we had too much fun. Like before the game, you know what I'm saying? We had to like it was just guys wasn't focused. You know, we just had a lot of other things going on. Just a lot of free time around the hotel, just roaming around. You know, it was like a nice hotel they put us in and pretty big, and just everyone had so much freedom. It wasn't so much of it didn't feel like, what I'm trying to say is it didn't feel like a game was the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you got some guys who will treat it like that in there, but everybody their own person. And I feel like it's not one guy's fault, it's just everybody's fault. I just feel like our minds wasn't right. We just was having too much fun, enjoying it, living it like a vacation, instead of mentally preparing ourselves to win a bowl game, but that, and I said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now I was about to say that, and that also we still were comfortable. Oh, we're here. At least we got here. Like I feel like that had something to do with it too. But I'm not gonna. Well, no, because we, guys, obviously you want to win a bowl game, but I think it probably was that, it's just our head wasn't in the right places, and just having too much fun.
Yeah, was there a point in that game where it was like, okay, we got to try to flip the switch here, and it's just not happening? It's like nothing we did worked. It just kept getting uglier and uglier.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we had, from the start, we just couldn't get nothing going. Like not even a reception. It took a while to get one of those. I think if we did, it was very few of them. And running, and they were just stuffing the run. I remember I was, we were just getting stuffed in the run. And but yeah, definitely, you get to halftime, you try to make adjustments, and it just still couldn't get nothing. I mean, I think we got it going a little bit, as the game started going on, but not enough to get a W.
Well, that season ends obviously 6-7, so just under 500. You, though, as a true freshman, like you said, started. You led the team in run and yards, 495. So overall, a pretty good first season. But how did you assess your year after it all was all said and done? Kind of how did you think you played, and what did you want to work on as you were kind of looking into that next season?
Well, the next season, I wanted to work on like pass protection, and well, first of all, I reflected. As I sat down and reflected, watched film. I had I left a lot of yards on the field, man. Like when I watched film, it's a lot of things I did that I shouldn't have done, and a lot of things I shouldn't have done. The other way around, I did it anyways. And it's just like when I watch film, it's like, man, I wish I can get that play back. It was a couple of runs. If I would have just made the right cut, maybe a few times, it could have been a long run. That breaking tackles also, I feel like I went down too many shoestring tackles and stuff like that. Also pass catching, I feel like, if I would have been more of a threat in pass catching game, which you have to in Coach Scott Frost's offense, I feel like his running backs got to know how to catch the ball because it's just the play types. And so those three things, man, breaking tackles, pass protection, and pass catching, I feel like I wanted to get better at that, and I didn't have the freshman season I wanted. I really didn't. And, I had bigger plans for myself sophomore year, but how everybody know how that ended. We played Maryland for my first carry, I broke my ankle.
Well, yeah, we'll get to, unfortunately, we'll get to that in a few minutes. But Mike and I have been doing this show for a long time, and one thing we've heard from a lot of people was those summer workouts under Coach Duval were grueling. Can you take us into one of those summer workouts and kind of what that experience is like as you're working with Coach Duval and some of the things you'll have to do in the weight room and on the field? Man, Coach Duval is probably one of the greatest strength and conditioning coaches ever. And I got to give it to him, just as far as that, because he's gonna push you. He's gonna push you, and I'm not talking down on the other strength and conditioning coaches I had, but Coach Duval is he's one of those guys, man. Whether you want to work or not, he's gonna get the best out of it. He's gonna find a way to do it. He had a great staff around him. I remember it was Coach Strop, Coach Duval, and I can't remember the other ones, but I know for a fact, he's gonna bring it every day. We will have real heavy squat lifting day, and and then still go out there and practice. And it's just at the end of the day, it's mentally preparing you. And also, they brought in this thing called the program, and from what I can remember, it's like this Army type based workout, something I never did in my life. You got to wake up every day at 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
if I'm not wrong, and do some stuff. But at the end of the day, man, Coach Duvall got the best out of it. That's the greatest. That's the best shape I ever been in my life. I can tell you that.
All right, so the 2017 season starts. We had a couple of true freshmen in the running back room, including Otis Anderson. When you see guys like that come in and they're coming for your job, how does that change the way you approach practice and just the workouts itself?
Man, first of all, rest in peace, Otis, man. That's my guy. That's my dude. That's like my little brother. Well, yeah, Otis was very talented. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you have a younger guy coming in the room, I'm still young myself, and it kind of make you think like, dang, I got to pick my stuff up. And I'm pretty sure AK was thinking the same thing, because Otis came in just wilding. Like, he came in just doing exactly what he was supposed to do. He was a real competitor. Like, I just knew when I saw him, like, yeah, no way they got their red shirt him. Like, he has to play. Like, he's just too talented. And so, when you got somebody like that in the room, on top of all the other talent, still AK was still in there. And then I forget, Don wasn't in there. I think Taj was still there.
Yeah, Taj was
but
there.
And then, I think Greg McCray was there too as a walk-on at the time, I think. And he was real talented too. Yeah, so just the whole room, man, it was just very talented. So, but then Otis just came and add more fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Because just off, because Otis can catch the ball real good. You can line him in the slot. You can put him at running back. He's just a very good competitor and very good athlete, man. So, kind of make you stay on top of your A game.
Yeah. So when you have all these guys, and the coaches want to get them all involved and get everybody touches, is that frustrating for you? I mean, do you like it better to get into a rhythm and just know you're going to get the ball 20, 25 times, or did you kind of enjoy getting a break too, and a little rest when you have
I won't say it's frustrating, because I'm the type of guy, I can't speak for everybody else, but I was the type of guy that wants to see like everybody eat, and it's like, I feel like, there's enough opportunity for us all to go out there and show our abilities. But at the same time, you also know that, well, the opportunities are kind of limited. So whenever you get your chance, you got to go out there and do something. Like the margin of error is very small when you got a very talented running back group like that. And it's man, it's just it's just kind of make you sharpen up.
Well, the running back room changed also that year too. Kevin Smith left to go to FAU, so you lose Kevin Smith. But you mentioned Coach Ryan Held, and obviously he was your position coach for your time there. What was he like as a coach? We've heard a lot about some of the other staff guys, but you don't hear a lot about Coach Held. What was he like as a coach?
Coach Held was another. He brought the energy, man. He's gonna make you laugh, just like another like I said about AK. Those two brought the energy. Coach Held is going to make you laugh even on your worst days. And he's going to coach you up, man. He's going to coach you up to the best of his knowledge. And he's a real good teacher. I can say that about Coach Held. He was a very good teacher, just as far as helping us learn the playbook. He knew how to deal with us all. And, like, he knew his players. Like, he knew to teach me a certain type of way. He knew to teach AK a certain type of way and stuff like that. Coach Held, he understood us. And he took advantage of that opportunity, and he's a very good guy, man. Good coach.
What about that team? So you already mentioned earlier, you're looking around, right? You're seeing AK, you're seeing Otis, you're seeing KZ back there, right? On defense, you guys got, guys like Pittman and Shaquem Griffin. Was there a point in time where you looked around and you said to yourself, man, we've got a team this year that can compete? Were your expectations high for the team as you kind of looked into that 2017 season?
Man, what's crazy is, like, I kind of got a feel of it when when they were recruiting me, when I came on my official visit and I came to the spring game and all that. I just saw something. Like I said, I just saw something. I just saw the vision, and I seen, like, the talent in this, and on the roster. And, I wasn't even a part of the team yet. I was just on my official visit, and I just saw Coach Frost's vision, and I'm just like, man, we could put this thing together for real. But then it's another thing when you actually get here and see for yourself. And so, you're in practice. And practice was like a game every day. It's too much talent on the field. So it's like competing. We're getting each other better. Where Coach Frost is high-powered offense. You know, it's kind of making the defense better because they got to face us every day. You know, then not only that, with the caliber guys we had in the room, and you know, and you know, from top to bottom, you know, however you want to do it, you know, each position, however you want to do it, top to bottom, I feel like we had, you know, great, you know, real good guys, you know, that can compete with anybody in the country. So, you know, like when it's like that, man, I just, you know, you can see something, man. You just know what this team could do if we just put it together. And, you know, you obviously work out and train in the summer with these guys, you know, build relationships, and, you know, you just go from there. But I can definitely say it was easily noticeable.
Yeah, the season starts off fantastic. We blow out FIU. You have a nice game. You run for 56 yards, touchdown. You had to be feeling pretty good about the start to the season, right?
Yeah, I was. Even that game, I was a little, no, because, you know, I fumbled that game. Like I said, I was always the type of guy that's hard on myself, you know. And then on top of that, the year before, like my freshman year, we played FIU. I got hurt that game. I'm like, there's always something with FIU, you know. But I felt, you know, we blew them out, so I knew, like, it wasn't just about me, though. Just as far as the team, the whole overall team, I just felt great about it because, you know, it's just like, man, I just knew we were going to do something special. Because, you know, I saw it work all the way up through the summer and spring and all that. Like, you could just tell we were going to do something special.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about that season, too, is after that, a couple games get canceled. You know, the hurricanes blow in, and we had to reschedule a game. We had to cancel a game. How weird is that? And keeping you guys focused on what you really need to do for the next game.
Well, you know, so I feel like that's where the coaching staff come in, and you know, just those guys and how important they are into this thing. And I can definitely say they did a great job keeping us focused, keeping us locked in, and keeping us locked and loaded, man. Like we were ready to play any day. We could have got a call Wednesday and you know, and play. I feel like, you know, because the coaches did such a great job making sure we were locked in. Just the, you know, the energy everywhere. Everybody, you know, we wanted to be out there, so we came to practice preparing as if we were going to play Saturday or Friday. You know, we didn't, but I feel like we did a good job preparing it. But like I said, it started with the coaches.
Well, you mentioned earlier, so we head up to Maryland. It's fourth play from scrimmage. You get the ball, and take us into what you remember next about that play and kind of what comes back when you think what comes back to your mind when you think about it.
When I got hurt?
Yeah.
Oh man, like, are you asking me like what I was thinking like prior to that, or like what?
Just as soon as you got hit, you hit the ground. Did you know something was wrong? Did you know what were your thoughts and emotions right then and there?
Well, yeah, because I know I didn't even get touched. Like I basically did whatever that was myself. You know, like I planted off the wrong. First of all, I planted off the wrong foot. I was trying to get upfield, and what's crazy is right before that game, like I still remember this vividly. Like we were walking on the field. Coach Hell was like, "Man, this is some real slick grass, man. We got to be careful out here. You know, somebody's gonna get seriously hurt out here." I just so happened to hear that too, and I'm like, "Oh snap!" And the grass was kind of slick because I think it was like raining a little bit before the game or something. It was, you know, their turf was just real slick. Like, Maryland turf is terrible. So, you know, I was trying to, you know, guys were slipping that whole game. Well, a good amount of the game. But yeah, man, I just know when I planted off the wrong foot, you know, I just felt something immediately. I just knew I broke something. I didn't even want to look down. But when I was on the ground, you know, obviously, you know, Miss Mary and, you know, other trainers come out there, you know, Miss Mary was telling me to just stay still, like don't move or whatever. One of the trainers was saying something, and they had to like crack it back in place. Because when I looked down, my right ankle was like turned all the way to the right, like farther than how like it's supposed to. Like, there's no way I can just do that like myself. So I knew it was broke because it was like broke like bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked down and it was turned way over there. I'm like, oh. I also felt it, but it was just too much going on like emotionally, and like my adrenaline was still going that I ain't really feel it until I got in the locker room and they did x-rays and stuff like that. You know, it started hitting me then, and also I was still a little fired up because as I was in the locker room and I hear Otis' name and he's going nuts that game, like you know, him and AK, you know, Otis woke up. That's the game Otis made a name for himself. You know, he scored I think once or twice, I'm not sure, but he had a nice game. from what I can remember. And so I was fired up for those guys too, but also upset that I was hurt, because like I said, I ain't come off the best season like I wanted my freshman year. So I was trying to make my sophomore year the greatest, one of the greatest it could be. But, unfortunately I got hurt. So big mental period for me around that time.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously you get hurt, right? And you go and have the surgery and take us into what's next. Are you kind of preparing the rehab plan, or are you just taking it easy? Kind of where was your mind at, a few days after that surgery as you kind of recognized you were going to be out for the year?
Well, my mind is, obviously, upset still, but I didn't want to feel sorry for myself, so I kind of, just attacked rehab, just wanted to attack rehab to the best of my ability and trust the trainers to get me back to where I was, where I wanted to be. So, I pretty much just kept that mindset.
How much were you able to stay around the team after that? Were you able to travel with the guys to the games, or you just at the practices?
Well, after not too long after that, I ended up getting into a situation on campus type deal, and I ended up I was in trouble for a little bit. I was suspended away from the team. I'm not gonna get into detail about what happened, but I was suspended away from the team for a while, and that's what happened. It's just too much going on. I wasn't in the right headspace and stuff like that. And, I look back at it and, I'm thankful for the good and the bad because it shaped me to who I am today. And it just so happened around the time that Coach Frost left. And then, with what I had going on, I just thought it was best for me to get a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, during that season, though, I mean, you're watching it just like we are. Is there a point during that year or after a certain game where you said, "Holy, these guys may actually go all the way without losing the game"?
Hell yeah, of course, because I didn't get into I ain't get into my trouble and my situation until near the bowl game. You know what I'm saying? So I was still actively supporting those guys. Of course, that's my team and those are my brothers out there competing. So I was still on the sidelines all of the games when we won the conference championship against UCF UCF or Memphis against Memphis at our field. I was right there on the sideline. You'll see me. I had my boot on and stuff. I didn't get into my trouble until late November, December area, somewhere in there. So I still was, I was supporting my guys, even in the midst of the trouble. I was still supporting my guys. Like I said, it was a special bond built, man, and I can definitely say UCF was some of the greatest days of my life. I can't trade that, but I don't think nothing get greater than that.
But which game was it when you said, "Man, these guys are going to do it"? Was it when we blow out Cincinnati on the road? Was it that Navy game on the road? Was it?
So who did we play? Actually, Maryland game. Who did we play after Maryland?
I think it was Memphis when we blew them out the first time we played them. Right? It was 45-6 or something. AK had that the 96-yard touchdown run.
Man, that I'm telling you, after right after we beat Maryland, and when I got hurt, and then the next game we played Memphis, I'm like, man, we about to do something. Then guys are waking up. McKenzie was starting to come into, McKenzie Milton, that everybody, we knew what he was doing because we practiced with him every day. He was like Houdini, McKenzie will do some stuff in practice I've never seen before. We all knew how talented he was. It was just a matter of time for the world to figure out him, to learn about him. So, he started coming to himself. Then Traquan was being Traquan, just Jordan Akins. The AK was going absolutely nuts. Then you got Otis was starting to, make a name for himself too. So, man, I was just, I was just real tight with a lot of those guys. Even on the defensive side of the ball, man. So I just knew we had something special brewing up in Orlando.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that team is Gabe Davis was the third receiver, right? He was the third receiver behind Traquan and Dredrick.
That's what's crazy. And you had Gabe, who was probably one of the hardest workers ever. Gabe would Traquan from what I can remember, Traquan took Gabe under his wing and it worked out perfect. Gabe would stay out to practice and catch plenty of balls before he go inside. He'll be one of the first ones out there. Gabe just always came to play. Like, I knew he was a next level type of guy, just in the way he approached everything. So him and Traquan was like similar in ways.
Well, you mentioned Scott Frost. Obviously, that had to be a bit bittersweet for you, right? Because you guys are winning the championship, but the rumors are out there. You guys all heard it. Everyone kind of knew about the Nebraska stuff. How did the prospect of him leaving UCF kind of impact you and maybe what your decision was going to be?
Man, I feel like it impacted like me a lot because, man, like, he was there, but I'm like, damn, he was there for 2 years, and the rumors coming out already. I'm like, jeez. But at the same time, it's like, I'm happy for him because, if I was the coach and this team offering me all this money that I graduated from and won championships with too, I probably would have did the same thing. But I selfishly, I wanted him to stay at UCF. But at the same time, like I said, I'm wanting nothing but the best for him. But we all were hearing the rumors and stuff. We kind of didn't really feed too much into it. Like I said, coaches did a great job just keeping us focused, silent the outside noise and, what everybody's saying. But at the same time, we knew what was going on too. I can definitely say that because, I think we were in practice one day and we knew like before practice or something that he accepted a Nebraska job or something like that. I can't remember. So I don't remember exactly what happened, but man, Coach Frost is a great guy, man. That'll forever be my dude, man.
Like you said, you're away from the team for a little bit, and then Coach Heupel comes in. Did you get a chance to meet with Coach Heupel before you decided to maybe leave UCF? Did you guys have a chance to at least chat and talk through what you staying at UCF might look like?
I don't remember talking to Coach Heupel. I don't remember talking to Coach Heupel. Honestly, I really don't. If I did, okay. Do you guys remember when did he accept the job? Like when did they announce Coach Heupel was coming?
Yeah, it was before the Peach Bowl. It was the lead up to the Peach Bowl. It's probably about it was like the second or third day or so after we beat Memphis. So somewhere in that first week, maybe of December.
After we beat Memphis,
yeah.
they announced it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Honestly, I really don't know. And I remember a lot of things. I don't remember talking to Coach Heupel. If we did, it was a very small conversation. But from what I think, I was already in trouble when he came, actually like arrived to campus and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, like I said, I was told to stay. I had to stay away from the team and stuff. So
gotcha.
I don't think he met with me and stuff. But I was hearing from the guys, type of guy he is and stuff like that. But, like I said, what I had going on, I just knew it was best for me to, on top of still having to get healthy and stuff like that, I just knew it was best for me to get a fresh start, man. But, I still feel to this day if Coach Frost would have stayed at UCF, I would have still been there.
Well, you decide to go to James Madison, and then you end up at Eastern Michigan. You have a good career, but are you keeping track of UCF while you're playing for these other schools? Are you watching the games when you have a chance?
Definitely. Because like I said, like I came in with those guys, so those guys are still like special. It's still a special group, special bond still there. I was still in communication with a lot of those guys. A lot of Mackenzie, that's my dude. AK, we talk time to time, and Otis, like I said, I was like my little bro. Just a lot of other guys. Neville Clark, he's from the Miami. He's from South Florida, so that was like one of my close guys. Just a lot of people, man. So I would definitely still watch the game and support those guys, man.
And what's going on with you now? Did you graduate? Are you still planning on playing football somewhere? What's the next plans for you?
Yeah. I graduated from James Madison like 2021, May 2021. So I was supposed to have been like I said, I talked to a few teams and stuff like that in the NFL like scouts and stuff like that. I broke my ankle the game before the bowl game. I broke my ankle again, which so I wasn't able to do my pro day or nothing. So a lot of teams were scared to scared of my injury because I don't even know when I was going to get back healthy. Like I'm still not healthy right now. So, but I think my plan is right now is to get healthy again first, and I'll probably have to take the XFL, USFL route for a while and work my way back up.
Are you back home in Florida? Or are you still up in Michigan?
I'm back home in Florida right now, man. I'm in Miami. Like I got an 8-month-year-old daughter. I take care of. So I'm back home. Rehabbing up, eating therapy and stuff like that. I was coming along good. I'm about 90% right now. Yep. So it's coming along pretty good. So I know I'm gonna get myself right for that and just stay in contact with my agent. Work out this XFL, USFL stuff. But I know if I would have did my pro day and stuff like that, and I would have at least got my shot, at least with training camp with the team, because they were calling, they were real interested. It's just my injury is kind of what placed me in the situation I'm in today. But I also know that God, everything happens for a reason, and I do believe that wasn't my last down in football. I know I have more football left in me, and I'm going to continue to believe it, and it's going to come true.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time and walking down memory lane. Before we let you go, though, we got a bunch of fun questions. We want to kind of get to know you a little bit. So some rapid-fire questions. Could be music, movies, sports, all kinds of fun stuff. Are you ready for these hard-hitting questions?
Yeah, we can get it going.
All right, so you're from Miami. You're from real South Florida, right? So you grew up in Miami, right? So you know college football really well. So rank these 4 teams for me right now. Miami, Florida State, Florida, UCF. What's your order of those 4 teams right now in college football?
UCF is first always. They gonna always be first. Like UCF, I don't care who coaching, who playing, UCF first. Like I said, UCF first, and then I'm gonna go Florida, and then Florida, Miami, then Florida State.
I like that.
Yep, I'm gonna do it like that.
All right, staying with the Miami theme questions here. Adam and I are from down south too. I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Oh, okay.
Who is the best Miami artist? Is it Trick Daddy or Uncle Luke, or is there another one?
Wow.
Oh man,
Rick
so
Ross?
Kodak wouldn't be considered Miami. He's Broward, right? So
Yeah.
Who?
Kodak. He's
Kodak
a
Black.
Yeah.
Kodak
I
Black.
almost said him, but he's a Broward type of guy, so it's not considered Miami, unless you're talking about South Florida. But Miami, we got Rick Ross too. Now we got Rick Ross, Trick Daddy. So I would have to say out of those 2, I would have to give it to just out of the classics they got, man. Trick Daddy just got some real classics that'll forever be some bangers in Miami. So you got to give it to him, man.
All right. Everybody loves playing video games. Everybody loves playing Madden. So if we're going to play you in Madden, who's your team? Who's the team that you pick every time?
Well, I'm going to pick, like today.
Yep.
Man, I feel like I got to play Madden with the running quarterback. So I will pick the Ravens with Lamar, or I will pick Kyler Murray, or who else could run? Justin Herbert got a little speed on there too.
Oh.
But anybody who could move a little bit with the quarterback, I'll pick. So it's no specific team. I normally swap between the running quarterbacks.
Nice.
All right, which one of your teammates from UCF would have been best for the TV show The Bachelor?
I didn't even see that. I don't think I saw that show.
It's just one of those dating games where there's one guy, 20 women. Which guy basically has the best game on the team when it comes to
Oh man, I have to get out to Jaquarius Bartner, Q. I had to get out to Q or Neville Clark. Yep.
All right. I think enough time has passed on this, so we can all agree on this right now. Coach Frost always wore a shirt that was one size too small for him, yes?
Well, yeah, Coach Frost was also a huge guy. Coach Frost was real built, man. But I feel like he was a guy that wanted, Coach Frost liked to show us, show us, you know how that goes, man.
Did you guys make fun of him for that? Like ask him if he had a schmedium on or anything like that?
Nah, not. I can remember Coach Frost just was, man. He's just a cool dude, man. You just be around him like he's just good vibes. We just, he'll joke with you, but just about other little stuff I can't remember, but we ain't ever joke on about his shirt. Well, if we did, it was like amongst each other. We ain't like mess with him about it.
All right. If you're watching a football game, what are you eating? What are you drinking? You're hanging out with the boys. You drinking beer? Or what's your drink and what's your food?
Right now?
Yeah, just hanging out watching a game on a Sunday.
So I gotta have some chicken wings, man. Like I gotta get the chicken wings, maybe some fries, however you want to do it. But the chicken wings is for sure. And probably just hanging out with the boys, man. We just talking and we probably betting with each other or something like that. Like not nothing crazy. Just I probably bet my boy like $50 or something. Oh, I like this team to win or something. Just doing what guys do and just talking smack to each other, and that's just doing that type of stuff. So that's probably what I'm doing during the football game. Every now and then I probably I'm not really a beer drinker, but like every now and then I probably have one or two.
All right.
Chicken wings, you going blue cheese, ranch, both, and neither?
Blue cheese, man. Gotta go blue cheese. Gotta go blue cheese. Gotta drown the chicken in it. Just bite it.
It's the popular answer. Every time we ask anyone that question, that's usually the winning answer. What was your favorite spot on campus? If you were just going to hang out on campus for a little bit, maybe get away from football for a little bit, where was your go-to spot on campus?
Well, in front of Towers 4, we called that the block. Like all the guys called it the block. So I would say, we'll be on the block, man, in front of Towers 4, just chilling, like still team bonding. Like, that was an everyday thing because, newcomers stay in the Tower 4. Even some older guys, they just love what goes on around there so much that, it's hard for you to move off campus. So I would definitely say Tower 4 right there in the front, just chilling amongst each other. And, I would definitely say that's probably where I hung out the most. Or if I wanted to get some food, I love Kyoto's and Burger U right there, so. Or in Domino's, I ate pizza a lot, probably once a week. So, yep.
All right, they coming out with a new Top Gun, or they came out with it this past week. What's a movie that you want to see them come out with a sequel to? Something that you grew up watching that you love, and you'd like to see them do something else with it?
You know what? I probably would like to see another Friday movie. Another Friday movie. Just all of them funny. Just a new one. A new one is probably what we're missing out here.
Yeah, it's been a while since the last one.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Well, Jawon, listen, we appreciate you taking some time to chat with us about your time at UCF, and obviously congrats on a great career, and best of luck to you as you kind of rehab. We'll keep an eye out for you. I'm sure a lot of folks in Orlando start rooting for you to get your shot at the next level. So I know you have a bunch of fans in UCF still, so appreciate you taking some time, man, and hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on the platform. I also want to shout out all the everybody who's still supporting me, and just everybody, UCF Nation, Night Nation, it's forever love with just those guys, just everybody involved in the community. So big shout out to y'all, and I thank y'all for having me on the platform.
All right, man. Charge on.
All right, charge on, man.
Okay, sons of UCF, both of you are the father.
All right, cow of the week time. As always, if you're new, we find something that was funny, ridiculous, stupid, all the above, and we make fun of it because that's what we do to the cows. Mike, you can go first, my friend. Do you have a cow of the week for us this week?
I do have a cow of the week. I mentioned how I went to the concert this past weekend over at our old stadium, Citrus Bowl, now known as Camping World Stadium.
Yes.
I got to tell you, getting out of that place is the best move that we've ever made as a university. That stadium has not aged well. It's not good. I don't think this has ever happened before. I have a top 5 inside the cow of the week.
Oh my God, I don't even have everything prepared for this. This is something I never thought I was going to do. I didn't think, okay, all right, I'm ready now.
Yeah, because this place is so bad. I got the top 5 worst things about Camping World Stadium.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, number 5. We still have bleachers up in the upper deck. They redid most of the stadium a couple years ago, and then got rid of the bleachers on the bottom, put in nice seats, but they only went halfway with this. They didn't go all the way up to upstairs. Bleacher seating for a stadium like that, if you want to be a high-class stadium, like, Hard Rock Stadium down here where the Dolphins play, basically every football stadium for an NFL team, you got to have seats, actual seats up there. And now the bleachers actually did work in my favor because it made it easier for me to stand on them and, lean up against the wall during the concert. But for most people, it looked very uncomfortable. You're sitting there, you don't have anything to relax on. So bleacher seating in the upper deck, number 5 worst thing about the stadium. It only gets worse from there. Number 4, the people working at this place. I don't know where they found some of these people. Actually, I probably do have a good idea of where they found some of these people, and they're probably just people walking around the streets, like just outside the stadium, because some of these guys didn't know what the hell was going on. To scan your ticket to get into the stadium I had to switch lines like 3 times because the lines just were not moving. People didn't understand how to work the scanners. They were calling for help. It was a little bit of a mess there entering the stadium, and mostly because people didn't know what they were doing. Number 3, worst thing about this place, the location. As we know, it's not a great neighborhood over there. I can tell you just 3 letters, OBT, and that may be all you need to know. Orange Blossom Trail. Not the best of places to be walking around with a family of 4. Number 2, the concessions. This is a big deal for me. We get there and we're running late. We drive up from Fort Lauderdale. It was a last-minute decision. I bought the tickets at about 2:00 in the afternoon. We threw all our stuff in a bag quickly. We got it out of here. We hit the road by 3. We were up there by 6. We had to make a quick stop over at Target to pick up a couple things. By the time we get to the hotel, it's like 6:30, almost 7. Take a quick shower, get out of there, get to the stadium. We timed it fine. We got there right as the concert was starting, but we didn't have time to go have dinner or anything. So we figured, we'll eat some food at the stadium. They were out of hot dogs
before
the concert even started.
Cardinals
out of hot dogs. They had it crossed off on the menu on top. All they had was pretzels, which sucked, and some nachos, which I didn't even dare. Like I told you earlier, I'm not messing with stadium nachos. So that sucked. And then the beer sucked too. The only 2 options were Bud Light and Coors Light. I guess it's because I'm in the upper deck. Maybe in the club areas they have better options, but up there was nothing. And then halfway through the concert, they ran out of Coors Light, so I was stuck with just the Bud Lights. Concessions at this place, no bueno.
Wow. And
the number 1 thing that sucked most about it.
What's left? I don't even know.
The traffic and getting out of the stadium. Oh my God. The worst. Now, I was lucky enough. My hotel actually provided us with a free lift to the stadium and a free lift back.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, I didn't even know about this when I booked the hotel. It was a great perk. That really turned me on, I got to be honest. Free transportation. That was the best part of the vacation. But I even took it one step further because I learned my lesson. I went to the concert. Last time I was at this stadium was for another concert. It had to be like 2016, I want to say. Around that time, the Rolling Stones were in town. I rode up there with my dad, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt, all of us. We had a great time. Concert was fantastic. For that concert, we got a shuttle from our hotel to the stadium, about 2 miles away. And I was like, we'll get an Uber on the way back. No big deal. Coming out of there, it was impossible to get an Uber. Tried many times. We got it canceled. And then they were raising the charges on all of it. There was no way. We ended up walking back 2 miles right to the hotel. So I told myself, okay, that's not going to happen to me this time. I reserved an Uber to have it waiting for me at 11 o'clock, about 2 blocks across the street from the stadium. I was like, this is perfect. This guy's just going to be sitting here. I'm going to get in there. Boom, we're going to take off. It's going to be. It was almost too good to be true, right? And plus, I had the free lift as my backup plan. So there was no way I was going to get stuck walking out of this place again. Well, we get out of the concert. I timed that perfectly too. We're standing right by the exit as he's singing, and in the end. So as soon as he hits that last note, boom, we're the first ones down the steps and everything, right? We head out the stadium. We're going right to where this guy's meeting me. I'm calling the guy. Hey, I'm on my way. Don't leave. I'm going to tip you nice. Thanks for waiting. I appreciate it. We're a couple minutes behind schedule. We get there. The guy's there. He's waiting for me in my spot. We got a nice, cool AC car ready to pick us up. Jump in. I'm all happy. All right, we did it. I don't have to worry about anything. And so we're sitting in the car for about 20 minutes, and we have not moved not 1 inch. Nowhere. We didn't go anywhere. And there was no signs that we were going to be moving anytime soon either. So the wife wanted to just get out. And we all decided, that's it. This ride is not for us. I still tipped the guy for waiting for me. And we decided to walk. We had to walk like another half mile to a mile to find a spot where we can get another ride from there. And the parking coming out of that place is just horrible. I don't know what they have to do. I don't understand what they're. That stadium sucks.
I've heard.
The nicest way I can say it.
Yeah, I've heard.
The nicest way I can say it sucks. Everything about it sucks. I mean, the concert was great, but oh man, I'm so glad we don't play football there anymore. I don't know what would happen with 40,000, 50,000 people in that stadium. And the concert it wasn't even a full stadium because the one end zone, the whole third of the stadium is not even full. There's nobody sitting there. So how bad could it have been? And they still couldn't get people out of there. Miserable exiting the stadium. So that's the Cal of the week. Camping World Stadium. I'm glad we don't have to go there anymore. Hopefully we don't even schedule one of these neutral site games there because I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather go over to Tampa and deal with Raymond James.
Wow. I don't even know if I can top this. I had a Cow of the Week prepared. Now I almost feel I feel undressed because I don't have a top 5 attached to it. It's just a normal Cow of the Week. So I'm gonna try this, Mike. You probably went on not following the Heat game on Sunday night, I imagine.
No, I will check in and see the scores.
All right.
And I never really watched it.
It's a tough one. Celtics jump out to a big lead. Heater battling back, Mike. And then, third quarter, about 11 minutes in, we're getting a little momentum. Max Strus hits a 3-pointer in the corner, and we're feeling like, okay, we got a charge. I think at that point we were down 8. We had been down as many as like 15 to 20 at that point, so we're down 8. You're feeling good. More game action goes here and there. Celtics put on a nice little run, and so all right, we're falling behind a little bit, Mike. And then just casually during one of the breaks, they come out of break and they're like, oh, and by the way, the NBA said that Max Strus is out of bounds, so his 3 doesn't count anymore. This was like 7 minutes after he actually took that 3 and made that 3 that they decided that they're taking the 3 points off the board. So we went from being down like 11 to down like 14 in a heartbeat. And so okay, what are you gonna do, right? The game keeps going, and wouldn't you know it, Mike? Heat lose by 3. The 3 at the end, 99-96. Heat lose by 3. And so 4.5 minutes after Max Strus's shot went in, it was called the 3. Somebody in the NBA said, nope, never mind. He was actually out of bounds. Took the points off the board, Mike. I've never seen that before. I've seen them change it from a 3 to a 2. I've never seen them say, oh, by the way, that one shot didn't count.
That's a tough way to go.
Yeah.
Now they can only go back as far as like the last stoppage of play, right? The last TV time. They can't go back to like the first quarter and take points away.
Apparently they can. Who knows? There wasn't a challenge, so nobody had challenged. It wasn't like Boston had challenged the call on the field or on the court rather. So I read someplace that someone had said that they were trying to see if it was a 2 or a 3, but typically there's a motion on the court. The referee will basically put up the good signal, which is basically like a field goal signal, put up the 2 hands, and then do like a little review motion, letting them know, hey, we're going to review that the next dead ball. That didn't appear to happen. If it did, they didn't show it on TV. So no one really knows when and how or why they decided to actually check out that 3-pointer. All we know is like 4.5 minutes later, they're like, oh, by the way, they took his 3 away. And then he lose by 3.
Yeah.
Not to be fair. They played like crap the entire game. They deserved to lose that game. Boston was a better team. But, I mean, I've never, like, no explanation, no nothing. Like, there should be a statute of limitations. Like, if you miss it within the first couple of minutes, then you missed it. And the thing about replay, I don't know if you saw the replay, Mike, but it's hard to tell if his heel actually hit the white line. It's probable, but the slow motion replays that you see, it's really hard to say for definitive fact that he's out of bounds. The call was a good 3 on the court, which means that had to be irrefutable evidence to overturn it. So I don't know how they found that either, Mike. I'm not saying the fix was in, but something about this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Well, when you put it that way, then they should not have reversed it. I mean, if it's something obvious and they missed it and they go back, okay, we got to get this right, then fine. But something like that where it's not even clear that he wasn't out of bounds or he was out of bounds, you can't switch it there, and especially not after that much time has gone by. So,
yeah,
that's a bad job. But they still had their chances to win.
Yeah, no,
right?
well, no, not really. I mean, they didn't lead the entire game. If Jimmy had made that
had a
three,
shot.
that would have been the opportunity for them to actually lead and win the game. But there was nothing there. They didn't deserve to win that thing. It was complete just cluster from the get go, and season's over.
But didn't Butler have a wide open three that he took and he just missed?
He did.
He would have
Yeah,
taken the lead with like 11 seconds.
yeah, that would have been their first and only lead of the game. If he had made that a wide open three, he could have drove into the hole and maybe got two and tied it, or maybe got a foul on Al Horford. He took the three. You live with that shot. He's not the best 3-point shooter, but he was wide open. He stepped into it. You know, what are you gonna do? But that whole call, I don't even know.
If they already had those 3 points, then he would have already had the lead. He wouldn't have
That's correct.
needing to take that last shot.
Correct.
But everything changes.
Then he enjoys contact. He goes on the line. We ice that thing at the line, and we're going to get shellacked by the Warriors. But now we get to watch the Celtics get shellacked by the Warriors. So that'll be fun.
What was better, or what would you have preferred? To go out the way you did, right? And you showed like you're a championship caliber contending team. You showed fight all the way to the very end.
Yeah.
Or would you have just preferred them just get their ass kicked on Friday night and not give you that game 6? Because that game 6, Butler went nuts, right?
47, yeah.
Yeah. So would you prefer them to not even have done that and saved you the agony of Sunday? Or just
no, I'm glad we got to Sunday. That game, though, was like my worst ever sporting scenario. Not that particular game, just the setup, where they were basically getting hammered the entire game. And you're looking and you're like, okay, we're not going to win this thing, right? But they're doing just enough to keep you interested. Like, there were several times I looked at my wife and I was like, you know what? If Boston goes on a run here, I'm going to bed. And then he'd cut the lead to 5. And I'm like, okay, we're still in this. Okay, great. And Boston now at 15. I'm like, all right, fine. That's it. I'm out of here. There's a 3 by Kyle Lowry. And I'm like, all right, now I'm still in this thing. Like, they wouldn't go away. It was just on that line between I've seen enough we can't win to, oh my God, are we going to pull this out? And then it get closer and closer and closer, and you're like, this is the dream. The team that shouldn't be winning this game is going to win this game. Boston's going to choke this thing away at the end. Nothing better than that. So it was like the worst scenario in that, like, we were just in it, but just out of it the entire game, and just so much that I couldn't leave. But just when I thought I wanted to leave, they did something good. So it was the most. I'd rather have gotten blown out by like 20 minutes. Like, this thing's over. Let's call it a night. But they kept it just close enough that I was annoying.
Yeah, but you don't want to give back Friday night. That was a big night for you. Right?
Good, yeah, that was a good night. That was a good. I actually figured we were losing that one. Like, I was half interested in that thing to begin with, and I was like, oh my God, we won. What? Like, as I'm watching this thing, I'm like, how are we going to pull this thing out? Kyle Lowry somehow, like the shell of himself, hits a personal 5-0 run to put that thing away, and Jimmy was fantastic. And I was like, man, are we going to win this thing at home? And then no, we're not. But then maybe we are, and no, we're not. And maybe we are, and then no, we didn't.
Heading into that game, I did not hear one Heat fan that had any confidence in Game 6. Everybody thought it was for sure was over. The season was over that night. After they lost Game 5, everybody had packed it in. So
I for sure did. I actually told my wife after that, I was like, well, you know what? At least on the bright side, I don't have to stay up till midnight every night watching the finals. Like, this is actually probably a good thing for my personal life, and that I can actually go to bed at a reasonable hour, because these stupid finals games don't start till 9 o'clock. So I'd be up till like 12, 1 o'clock watching Heat. So I assumed it was all over. And then they went. I'm like, maybe it's not over. And then it was.
Yeah, that's another thing. These games are going to start after I'm already closing my eyes.
Yes.
Who the heck's going to watch these things?
I assume people in Golden State or in Boston. Yeah, that's the problem. I will not I will watch 15, 20, 30 minutes of it or whatever. And then when it's night time, it's night time. Like, I'm not going to be like, you know what, I'm going to hang out. Like, when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
No. Yeah, unless it's a Friday night game or a Saturday night game. That's it. There's no chance of me watching any of it.
Yeah, well, all those are still 9 o'clock. So the Sunday games are the only 8 p.m. tip-offs. So I think it's Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday are the rotations. So your only option, I think, is that Sunday game.
Yeah, well, I won't be watching.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. But hopefully, everybody out there is going to be watching the Sons of UCF live this week and following along. We've got a really big week. We got some cool stuff planned this week. So if you're not following us on socials and you're not doing the YouTube thing, you're going to want to figure that out in a hurry. Live show Thursday, 8 p.m. You're going to want to be there. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to want to be there. You may have missed one or two. It's fine. We understand. Life happens, right? But this is one you're going to want to be there for. Or if you can't make it, you're going to want to get, as soon as you get home, get onto YouTube, get onto twonightsmedia.com, watch the replay. You'll enjoy it. It's going to be a nice week for the Suns, Mike. And hopefully everybody has a great week. And I know we're excited about all the things that we're going to figure out to do with the summer because it's upon us.
Yep, dog days are here. Don't worry, we've done this before. This
Not
is not our
first
first
time.
summer.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we have filled summer times with all kinds of content during COVID. When there was no sports going on for anything for a while. It was even a longer summer back then, and we figured it out. And we'll do the same here this year. So don't worry. Just stick with the Suns. Keep listening. Keep tuning in. Keep watching. Keep going over to YouTube, subscribing there. Those numbers are jumping up quickly. We'll be giving out those Yetis pretty soon.
I might not have any left by that time. Look into that. But hopefully we will. But hopefully you'll follow us along, and we'll talk to you all later this week. Have a fantastic one. Go Knights.
Charge out.